Futures downside here to start this morning as we digest a whole bunch of earnings, mostly to the negative side of things today, including miss across the board from Uber, Shopify, RIVN as well, to the downside to the tune of about 7.5% here this morning. So a lot similar to yesterday morning. A lot of earnings reports to sift through. That's, look at Uber just making session lows right now. The initial move after the close yesterday to the upside. We get the guidance, not good. There's Shopify pushing 19% on the morning here to the downside for Shopify, Canada's own. Not faring too well here. Forecast, once again, a bit of a problem here for Shop. We get Uber, as I mentioned, LYFT, the only one. What kind of day is it going to be if that's the case? Yeah, I mean, there's a couple moving to the upside here, but for the most part, the bigger names we were touching on late in the day yesterday, and talking about yesterday as far as earnings to the downside we go today. Yeah,
tough look for Rivian. You and I talking about that off camera. We'll talk more about them on the rundown. Affirm also reported with Upstart as well. A couple of very similar names. Shopify, as Brendo mentioned, reported. Uber, though, specifically, I guess we'll get more into it in the rundown, but there was a line item there for about $750 million that really helped bring down revenue, or not revenue, but earnings, Brendo. So they ended up having a negative print here after multiple positive ones.
And Tesla under investigation from the U.S. government now on fraud, wire fraud at that. So that's Tesla's chart so far this morning. We're already at 3.25% to the downside here for Tesla shares. Was just going to run through this real quick. The only thing of note, coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, wholesale inventories on the calendar. That's about it. We get energy. It's Wednesday, so we get energy at 10:30. And not much else. Initial jobless claims coming up tomorrow, and then Michigan sentiment on Friday. So kind of light on the economic calendar, but that's fine because everything's missing on the earnings side of things today, guys. So a lot to look at here, including this one.
Is everything missing, though? Reddit's up.
Reddit. Oh, at least we got Reddit right.
Affirm's up, of all things. Like an Upstart's earnings last night, like Affirm just tanked. It was down like 8% or something, and that's gapped to the upside. So in some ways, it's not all bad, although a lot of it looks really bad right now. Intel, for whatever reason, like a couple of weeks after they just reported, they decided to already reaffirm guidance, and nobody likes it. And then you have the Qualcomm news with the Huawei last night. Export license revoked for them and for Qualcomm and Intel, so they were already under pressure. That's going to be bad. You have this Tesla news coming through. So Rivian losing more money than expected, 37.5 per car. It's between 35 and 38 per vehicle. And there was somebody else who I'm forgetting.
$38,000 a vehicle. It's like, yay, we sold a car. What?
The math on that is kind of jokes. It's actually
minus $38,000.
Yeah.
And then of course, Mr. John Canella in the chat here has to say, "Let's go Phillies."
Oh,
Last night, I knew Neil was asleep, but it was whatever time it was, 11 maybe or something. And I'm like, I looked down at the app because I was at baseball last night and driving home, and it was the 10th inning, the 8th inning, 10-1. And I didn't know Vlad had an 8-game hit streak. That was pretty good. I know it got snapped, but I'm saying that was pretty good, though. I didn't realize that.
In order to get a hit streak, you only have to really get one hit a game.
Right, but still, one hit is fine.
No, he was turning it around. But we had our first baseball practice for my daughter last night.
Yeah.
And I saw some better hits than what the Blue Jays are putting up. And
I cannot believe
this is like an under 8, where like apparently I didn't even know this till I read the rules. But in the league she's in now, it's alternating. I thought it was just straight T-ball, but it's alternating. One inning T, and then the other inning is coach's pitch.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's good. That's fun.
Which should be fun.
I think that is.
Sometimes they have the machines, but there's no machine in our league, so no pitching machine.
Nah, coach pitcher is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Then your coach can throw their arm out like I do. All right, 176 Tesla. Yeah, I mean, boom. We had this short yesterday at 183. We had marked it down. We've been talking a little bit short this market now for a minute. But it did make a nice move back up. I still think the stock market's fine. We got to hold out for 18,000. But as we had indicated, man, Uber, Intel, Tesla, and unfortunately, are we going down the same road again? Where we get a major Canadian name that's doing some damage in the world a little bit, in the retail side of things, in technology, so on and so forth. Shopify has its heyday, and then now today, it's May Day, and we're all the way down 19%.
I will declare this, though. Shopify will not have the same fate. It's not Nortel or BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this isn't good for them, and the trend isn't that great, but those are vastly different stories. Like, I think what both of those two companies got wrong is they had such a commanding position within their field, and they let everybody, they just stayed completely stagnant. And I'm hoping Shopify is not
Someone
going
wants to get on
that as
camera.
well. What's up, Ram Ram?
Oh, she's gone, see? Damn, I should
She's in the all black
today.
today.
For everybody.
All black.
Fabian's trying to get her. Where is she?
That's black. No, that's blue. Huh? It's not brown. Hold on a second. What color is Ram Ram wearing right now? That's black.
Black, yeah.
Black.
Red. I
It's
see red
black.
today. I'm seeing red today. We're seeing red today. So let's see what happens
Hold
as
on,
this
that's
market
the-
opens
that's-
up.
that's
Oh yeah,
black.
Dutch Bros.
That reported too.
Bro, let me see what they did. Yeah, they reported. Yeah, we talked about.
See, up.
Yeah, up. Yeah.
Boom.
Starbucks. Yeah, there we go. We had this on yesterday's show. Portland, Oregon-based Dutch Bros coffee. All right, I need a coffee. All right, back over to the desk.
Yeah, let's touch on Rivian here to kick things off. We'll get into a little bit of the details anyway. 6.5% right now, trying to bounce off 950. You got to go back a week or so since we've been down to these levels, but I mean, is there a positive here? I was trying to find at least one, but it was a wide miss, to say the least, for Rivian.
Look, Ben, I mean, the only thing I can really look at here and say they beat on was revenue. The street was looking for 1.16 billion. They printed 1.2, but their loss per share was wider than the street expected. $1.48 a share they lost. The street wanted $1.25. The other tough look here is the R2, which is supposed to be under construction at the newly upcoming Georgia plant, has also been delayed to late 2026. That's not where you want to see. Also, the starting price for that now set to be $45,000 from $42,000. So we'll have to keep eyes on this, but a bit of a tougher look.
Yeah, I mean, they did say they were going to increase production capacity at Illinois to 215,000 from 155,000. I mean, you can go back to the early days of Tesla and find the same headlines. Lots of delays, lots of dates being pushed back as far as production goes. But yeah, I mean, if you want to compare it to Lucid, what was Lucid the other day? It was 1,700, I think they actually delivered. They made a bunch more than that, but it was 1,700 they actually delivered. So you can spin it, I guess, that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, it's production and costs that, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, somebody's going to survive other than Tesla. We've already said that. And it could be them. You got to get the costs down here. The other problem, actually, if you want to spin something that's good for Rivian, I think it's the simple fact that it might be a heck of a lot worse than this if not for the price action anyways. If it wasn't for that rumor gapping it up. Because really, it just closed at the exact, after that big rush to the downside, it ended up closing at the exact same price it was at on Monday. And like maybe if it had to withstand that kind of a free fall from a lower base, you'd be trading at like $9 already. But now it's not necessarily going to be a good thing for them at the end of the day until we actually see make some headways in terms of cutting costs, right? Like once that gets proven, I think the light at the tunnel can certainly be there. We talk about how much runway and cash you have out there. Obviously, Lucid's got a big-time lifeline. At the end of the day, Rivian, they're going to have some time to be able to figure this out, but quarter by quarter, it just gets uglier and uglier. And at the same time, we're now confident that we're getting some rate cuts this year, and you would have thought that could be a little bit of a turning point. But you still need to see progress as a business. The good thing about that double close at 10.25 is if it tries to go green, that's 2 days in a row, a 10.25 close. I'm shorting in front of 10, and I wouldn't necessarily think this is a long. If it can get green on the day, I think that would shock a lot of people, and if that were the case, I wouldn't be fighting it once it's past green, which is 10.25. And obviously there was no announcement with regards to Apple. I think we all Yeah, I don't know many people that were believing that was true.
I thought we got that announcement that Apple bought out Rivian. Oh no,
Yeah.
we didn't.
Could you
get
imagine
it. Oh, we didn't get it. My
Imagine
bad.
Rivian from here goes like down like 3 weeks in a row, is at $5, and then Apple buys them.
Apple ain't doing that. I don't think. I think they're going to be out of that.
That'd be
card. But
pie in my face.
You know what? Maybe at some point they do that. I would maybe look at a Lucid. Lucid's actually working on a few new cars as well. But yeah, look. Yesterday morning we were up at 1150, and it was just like, all right, we have to sell this thing because this is not true. You know, boom, boom. Randy was here saying no. I was like, we got to go long on this thing when it drops down to 1050. Instead of going short up here, you know, smart guy like me, I decide to wait for it to drop down and then catch a falling sword. And then that sword became today multiple swords into 950. So we got out yesterday in and around 1050. Thankfully, we didn't lose more on Rivian yesterday. But we've been negative this name. The funny thing is I'm long. I think 1125 as, like we were saying, kind of like fun money trying to catch some of these bottoms. But that might have been it yesterday. Maybe this is not the time to be holding on to Rivian. Losing money, like we said, you know, reconfirming some of that 57,000 number there for deliveries. I think there's a chance, but the next buying spot isn't until down here, like 875, 850. Like, honestly, these bottoms for Rivian. Let me even see what the 52-week low is exactly on this. I think it's 840 something. All right, I see it here, 826. So it's 826 is the 52-week low. I don't think we see that today, but that would be a spot, you know, 850, even if you want to buy some at 9 and then maybe dump it if it breaks through 8. I don't know. We'll see about Rivian here. I would like to see some upgrades on it, I think, before, like get some smarter people in the business here that actually think that there's
might not be an 8 today.
Right, that there's a runway. Maybe we buy Rivian on that first upgrade. Maybe we just wait for that. I don't know. But
Randy will give one in about 10 minutes if he's here.
well, if Randy doesn't come a little bit sooner than that, I need to get a coffee reload a lot faster than that. I'm going to hit up Randy as we speak. So, all right, back to the desk.
We're just looking at some of these Chinese EVs as well. I mean, across the board, Chinese stocks pretty much downside as a group this morning, but EVs specifically under a decent amount of pressure. Here's NIO, 520 coming into play right now, which is, you got to go back to last week, last time we were down here. I mean, they all kind of look like this. There's Li Auto, probably the worst off right now, under significant pressure. XPeng as well. It was a negative session, worth noting, overnight over in China, but I'm not seeing too much as far as headlines for these. There was a headline yesterday on NIO that they were going to team up with BYD on some battery supply issues as well for them.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, BYD is a vertically integrated company, very similar to Tesla. They make their own batteries, their own components, and so they're able to kind of homogenize everything there. So it makes sense that Neil would reach out to them for that. I was under the impression that things were going a little bit better in China with these Chinese EVs. I saw over the weekend the L6 was well received there as their cheaper car for Li Auto. The orders there were well above expectations, so interesting look. Also, President Xi went to France, I think last week or the week prior to that, to meet with President Macron. The idea there is to kind of remove the threat of the tariffs that the Europeans have been saying they're going to put on these Chinese EVs. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, not really understanding why this is down.
Yeah. I mean, as we were saying, like all the ADRs downside this morning. There's this one a couple of people mentioning as well, REVN. You guys are mentioning Bros. Here's another one, Reborn Coffee. Expanding into China. It's not working out too well for Starbucks currently, but REBN, huge pop here, little one moving.
Did we just like change the subject before we could pull up a Li Auto chart? Is that what just happened there?
Ouch,
to like,
Sharif.
no, to like Reborn Coffee that I've never. What is Reborn Coffee and why have I never heard of it before?
I don't know.
Have you ever heard of Reborn Coffee?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, there's so many. Part of the problem with Starbucks, and I know Brendan just mentioned
there's
this.
a lot of.
Yeah, it's just that there's so many different coffee chains and local coffee shops that pop up everywhere, and then people get which. You know, there's some people loyal to Starbucks, and then others will be loyal to their local shop. Some will be Dutch Bros. We've heard so much love for Dutch Bros.
Lots of young people apparently get.
Yeah, some people know about Reborn, not us apparently, but
no idea.
Yeah, McDonald's coffee. Like there's so much. The space is so crazy saturated.
And maybe if we keep saying the word coffee.
Oh, it's already coming.
I know it's on the way.
It's on the way.
But look, Li Auto, why is it down? I mean, a few of the ADRs are all gapped to the downside together. It's again failing lower highs. So I think you could have a retest of the bottoms. Every EV name that's been on a downward trend has been on like a fast course to the bottom. Right. 26 looks like it's not a huge flat bottom break, but a small one. The interesting one recently has been NIO. And this was really trying to break out NEO here. Come on, load it up. And this was just on the verge of, I thought, a break getting past this 635 level. I think you could retest the 50 period at $5 today, which sometimes you get a few million shares on that bid. So that would be the one that would be in play for me, the $5 level on NEO. I have marked off support at 460 and 480. 5 is kind of one of those things where if it's there and it's putting in a defense, it actually isn't going to be 10% down until it breaches $5. So that'd be at 496. It would be 10% down. So it'd almost have to break $5. It would be SSR. But then it's 5 cents worth of risk for an SSR bounce. It's halfway there already, so might as well be on guard for it. Li Auto is a good stock, usually around earnings or when it has a little bit more of a catalyst. But on a day-to-day basis, NEO is usually a little bit easier to actually engage with.
All right.
Top VoIP. There it is. I already, the question was, will you be buying BABA as it approaches the 200-day? I already bought BABA. I basically said if it closed above that 280 bucks on the weekly chart that I was going to pick it up. So I did that already. Thank you very much, Randy. And get rid of this one.
Randy, favorite. I was going to talk into it. Favorite coffee chain, or favorite if you could have a coffee right now from any certain. Cheers. Like you can say Tim's, McDonald's, Starbucks, a little place in where you're from.
Paris, France, in
here we go.
2018, I think.
Yep.
And Prêt à Manger had some of the best Americano coffee.
Here we go.
That I've had anywhere. I've had coffee all over the planet, but it was.
Or can you say that again? I want to write that place down.
Prêt à Manger.
Or I'll do it later.
I don't know.
No, I know.
All over the place, and
we've all been to Paris.
Fantastic.
Doesn't coffee taste so much better when you're sitting on the streets of a European country?
Yes.
You could have said any place. You could say any place in Paris.
This is what I'm saying.
Starbucks in
This is
Paris.
why I said Europe.
Okay, not that.
Starbucks in Paris. Okay. I actually have little Starbucks Paris things. We went into there and got a little souvenir thing because it was funny that there's a Starbucks in Paris.
Yeah, it's generic and
then you can get for €1, you get like an espresso shot or a little, depending if it's on the patio or in the bar.
Take it out, walk into the park.
Good one, Randy. Well, thanks. That was a good stroll down memory lane there. That's really nice. So I will get that. Well, I mean, we can't really, order in that coffee.
No, clearly you're looking for a chain because that was the tone of the question. But yeah.
No, well, that's okay. No, I mean, I even said even a local place.
Yeah, which is cool. Look, don't get me wrong. Like that was one of the coolest things about
Starbucks has a location.
It's such a walking place. You just walk, stop somewhere, grab a drink, grab a snack, and then continue walking.
Starbucks advantage is like they'll be in the airports. They'll be, all throughout the major cities and all that kind of stuff. So Paris have the fanciest Starbucks. Yeah, we might have been in the same one, Adam. So, all right, let's go back over to the. No. First of all, quickly. So I shorted Intel here. Probably a little bit early, but I wanted to try it at 30 bucks. It is on the sticky note here for Intel short. Again, this is what Intel looks like. This almost doesn't look real, to be honest with you, for such a major company that we all know the story. That's the funny thing. Like, we've all been talking about Intel and how they're not focused in the same areas as the other big names and that this was going to hurt them. They even said themselves that they've got the foundry, they've got all this that they're working on, and that they're more of a, 2028 or so story. And we've known that.
27.
But just look at, like, the market, it's almost like every day there's some, and it's not a Boeing thing. That's the funny thing about it. It's like they just keep on doing what they've been saying they're doing, and you've come all the way back in. So I don't own any Intel, but honestly, you know, at some point, like there's been, this is from April 1st. There's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 up days, and you can barely see them. Like the up days are like blips that they're like, oops, we bought the wrong stock. Yeah, that's right. And then we sold it the next day. You know, so anyways, I'm going to go short Intel on that news. But it was just a reaffirming of the guidance that, again, we already knew about. Like, it just sounds so crazy. And then I'm going to, just because we talked about China, we do like BABA. I know Neil talked about it, but this is another name that's going to be on and is on the sticky note to short it if we can get a bump into like 78.50, 79. So if we can get anywhere back to yesterday, BABA down 2%. We saw yesterday FXI was horrible, down 1.3%. We saw that on the recap show. And then KWEB, which is a big Chinese internet ETF, that was also down 2.4% or something like that yesterday. So watch out for Chinese names, PDD, Bilibili, and then the EV names that Neil highlighted there as well. So, okay, my earpiece is charging. I think it's almost charged, but if we are ready, let's go over to the screen with Adara.
Yes, we can.
Quite a few earnings names to kick off the upgrade side of things. Reddit getting upgraded here by Needham following its standout report yesterday and that nice gap to the upside. Crocs here as well getting upgraded by Moness, Crespi, and Hart. They reported pre-market yesterday, along with Datadog, which got an upgrade here from Baird. Redfin ending the upgrade side of things here with this upgrade from Stevens Realty-related name here. For downgrades, Lululemon's had a pretty rough year so far for the stock, and now getting a downgrade here for BTIG Research, trading slightly higher right now, though. NASDAQ here getting a downgrade from Rosenblatt. Zoom Info getting downgraded by Mizuho, and a couple other analysts I saw this morning as well. And Victoria's Secret ending the list today, getting a downgrade by Barclays, guys.
I got the, so Randy just sent it here. It's this, Pret a Manger. So there it is. But this is the one that's, I was like, oh, let me see what it looks like there in Paris. Yeah, he sent the one in Toronto.
Yeah, like that's here.
So here we go. This is Sheridan Center. Oh, Cactus Club. We've been there. We've been there. All right, I see you, Cactus Club. I see you, Cactus Club. Oh, that means we're right outside the TSX.
The streets of Paris.
Yeah, so the TSX is over here as well. But there we go. Where's the CN Tower at? Where's the CN Tower at? Over here. I can't see it. But anyways, all right, that's a nice little view of Toronto for a minute right there. But anyways, that was the coffee shop. So what was that? Datadog?
Well,
they reported
Datadog,
yesterday, no?
They were a yesterday report, and it's going to be, there's a few of these today where, you know, don't sleep on them. They're short sell restricted after a big dump to the downside. And we always talk about things settling down after earnings, and it bottomed exactly, okay, close enough to $110. I don't know if it was $110 on the line. Looks like $110.35. So if it can hold above that a second day, you get a nice little SSR bounce. And sometimes it's a little more gentle the second time through. I'd feel the same way about Disney at $100 if it got there today. Some of those secondary plays. I think if they get to a key level, you just allow it to make that move. Disney's at 105. It broke that already. It'll be continuation play, continuation SSR, and the $100 level. It was pretty significant as a breakout trade. If we do test that today, I think that'd be a place to look for a little bitty dip buy on Disney. So do not ignore them. I know Palantir was rough, but it's probably going to do some volume again today. And if it catches any kind of a bid, maybe down at that 20, it could be nice as well. No, Datadog was the one that was on the upgrade downgrade list. It's just the day 2 place. I didn't see Palantir there, but
because I was going to say I want to buy it once we get that upgrade. But
don't forget about those day 2 plays.
Yeah. We hey Randy, I got that and showed the Pret a Manger. Yeah, we should get takeout.
Or we could just drink free coffee.
Yeah, it's not about free. I mean, a couple bucks here and there. I saw where it was, right by Cactus Club you sent. Yeah, it's not too
they
far
sell
away.
oatmeal raisin cookies? That's what I want to know.
Probably. They definitely sell some pastries there.
Then I'm in.
Yeah, so we just mentioned a little bit about Palantir yesterday. We wrote down yesterday 21.50 was the price that we should be waiting for. And then we got too excited and we showed you what we did yesterday in the morning where we lost it all by buying it, getting too excited, thinking that we missed this bottom, and then using 22 as the bottom, and then that just didn't work. So we started buying the shares, and then when we just started to go down, we eventually had to get out at 21.50 because I wasn't sure where that bottom was going to be, but I was sure, and it was 21.50. So yeah, it's funny to laugh about it now. At the end of the day, though, we had the huge move right into the close, where we did close at its lows. So yesterday, Palantir closes, I mean, that's the very close right here, closes 21.40. You know, we're still above there. I was waiting to see some analyst action on this. Maybe I'll check the Benzinga Pro for that. But for right now, it's pretty quiet here in the pre-market. Let's see if it does anything down here near 21. I would say a second day sell-off, not sell-off, but I could see it being a little weak. Even despite it being strong into this market, you know, people that want to pick on a name again, they got hit yesterday, only down about 8 or 9%, was it at the end of the day? Oh no, it made the move, so probably 10%. Oh wait, here. Yeah, SSR, okay, so yeah. So it was down that level. Let's see what Palantir can do here at $21. Let's go back over to the desk.
The banks here, the past couple of days have been pretty good for banks across the board. I mean, we had, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row here downside for Treasury yields. But I mean, typically that means maybe some more activity going to be coming back into the banks if yields are coming off a little bit. That's XLF you were just seeing. There is the US dollar. If you zoom out a little bit, you'll get a better idea of what's happening. 2 days back upside right now for the DXY, 3 in a row. Downside to end last week, so back and forth we go, kind of stuck in this range. But again, if you zoom out on some of these banks, nice look here, trying to take out 41.25 here on the XLF.
Yeah, I didn't have a look at banks today, Brendo, but yeah, that's going to be in focus, obviously, as we're now talking less about interest rate hikes and more about interest rate cuts. We'll have to see when that materializes, whether it's in September or the December meeting. But yeah, I feel like the last FOMC meeting wasn't all that hawkish. Didn't really get too much in terms of anything threatening basically staying higher for longer or cutting by the end of the year.
I mean, he was, yeah, I was saying to Frank yesterday, it seems like they all have kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out right now, and just maintaining this, you know, we'll do whatever the data tells us at this point. So we get that NFP print, huge to the downside. But Frank made a good point yesterday. If you missed him, I would go back and watch that. Talking about, he was on at 2:45 as always on Tuesday afternoon, talking a little bit about the simple fact that yes, it was a huge miss downside, but 175,000 jobs is still, you know, over historic times, normal for the job market in the U.S. So we have to kind of take it with perspective.
Yeah, and it's not bad. You don't want to see too much slack in the American economy either. I mean, we start talking about recessions here if we lose too many jobs. So it's not a bad look. And we've been talking about this, I think, for the past 2 years, the soft landing, whether we get it or not, and what does it look like. I mean, we had one maybe in the past in 1994, and not even everybody agrees about that. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, the frustrating thing, I think, for market participants in general is that there's no timeline.
No.
There's no guidance as to how long it's going to take. Here's Morgan Stanley. We're just looking at XLF, just about to take out these highs. Morgan Stanley already through them. Some of the other ones pretty strong as well. Wells Fargo, nice daily chart as well. These all pointing to the upside here, guys, for banks.
And thanks a lot, Brandon. Like the second you said banks, I was like, oh, Morgan Stanley 96 break. And I had the chart up. I was like locked and loaded, ready to go. And then right before he throws back to us, it's like, oh, Morgan Stanley. So, look, there was actually, I read a couple of analysts, or at least a couple of articles on the speculation of what Warren Buffett has been buying in finance that he's hiding from everybody. Some of the speculation was actually Morgan Stanley. Don't know if that's true. Maybe Berkshire is, maybe they aren't. But this gets through $96, and you can see it's got some runway to go. Obviously, the banks, and you can look at an ETF, and they're doing great. But hugging the 200 period, now hugging the 50 period after the last bounce, it looks like a pretty solid breakout. Once it can get above 96, I think it's got some room to rally. That's the one I'd be watching. And shout out to Goldcrest. We appreciate you. Goldcrest Financial. Let me get it right. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the Qualcomm call out yesterday. Qualcomm and Intel, they're both down. Held a part position overnight and now have cashed out. So, of course, that's referring to the export license issue being revoked for Qualcomm and Intel. Obviously, Intel, like when I sat down this morning, I kind of liked short in both of them the same. But, I mean, Intel had then more bad news. I still like Qualcomm short. It's just 81 was the level where you were able to get it breaking down yesterday, and that was resistance. Going to have to find something else on a pop. Like maybe it's that 78 that was the support level from before, but Intel clearly has two pieces of bad news, not just one.
Yeah, no, yeah, and thanks for the super chat. Like yesterday afternoon, we were short Intel. As soon as that news came out, basically, I think it must have been, oh yeah, it was right here. Yeah, 3090. Yeah, 3090. So we were short here yesterday. So great call. Thank you so much, Goldcrest, for the super chat. You know, to be able to hold it overnight would have been nice, and you're able to do that as well. So good little call out there for that play. But yep, so we're going to go through the rundown now. So I'm going to save Intel. It's a name that I'm short, looking to get more short, but it's just a pre-market. So we'll wait for a couple more minutes. Market moving around, lots to cover right now. So we've hit some big names. Let's go over in some more detail and give some trade ideas.
Let's get into a look at the overall market here to kick things off at 9 o'clock. A lot to talk about outside of that.
Down 1/3% right now, Brendo, on the ES June contract. Yesterday's closing print, 52.13. So we did reclaim 5,200 overnight or yesterday, but we're down below it right now, printing 51.94. So let's say 51.75 if we don't reclaim that 5,200 as that key area of support. If we do reclaim 5,200, look for that 52.25. The previous day's high as that level of resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. It's super easy. Just go to the website, tradertv.live, enter your email address, and then you get the absolutely free from us to you watch list every single day. Has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market before we come on at 8:30. Here's Reddit. 12.8% right now, beating expectations across the board. Sales, revenue, guidance, all three to the upside here.
There's a whole bunch of good metrics that we can talk about here, but what really is standing out and staring at me in the face is daily active users. Look at this. The street was looking for 76.6 billion. They had 82.7, almost 83 million daily active users. You gotta love that. And their ad revenue. Now we were talking about monetizing this beast because relative to its competitors, it's doing quite poorly. Revenue growth, 48% year over year on the back of more advertising sales. And we still haven't even realized the AI training aspect of the information that they have on the site, Brendo. So good luck here.
Yeah, Sean, you were pointing at that 50 area yesterday to get back above that since that IPO and debut for Reddit. Here we go.
Yeah, it was just one of those names that came with a lot of hype, right, Reddit? And we knew that there was going to be some support for the name. And then now the numbers come out and they're pretty good. It just reminded me of ARM a little bit, where we got going like crazy early and then came in, hit lower, and then kind of started basing out. Now the base wasn't that major between 40 and 45, but that's only 10%. So for an IPO in its first couple months, a 10% back and forth isn't really that much. And then boom, you get, I guess, a decent number now. Record user traffic. And remember, the reason why I liked all of this was because we had super strong numbers from Meta. We know why Meta went down, because of the spend, not because of users. They had higher daily active users than they ever had. Same thing with Snapchat, adding more users, adding more users, right? Pinterest, the exact same thing. So we had all of these kind of social media type, internet, different ways of navigating. So I thought Reddit had a chance. And there it is. I mean, strong start to the year, future growth, revenue higher than expected, projections. And again, they're not a huge company, and they're not going to get that huge market cap. But for now, I think Reddit works. Now, whether or not you want to go long off this, I think this is close to the implied move. I'll have to look back to see. Hold on a second. I probably have it right here. The implied move for Reddit last night was 14%. So right there, bang. So we had this on the recap show. We had Brian Shannon. I didn't ask him about it. We talked about a few other names like RIVN and so on and so forth. But look what just happened. We bounced off 60. We didn't even get to 60 like we did, but this morning, 57, 56. I feel like that 60 right there could be a level. I'm going to stay away. It could be pretty violent here, especially off the open. But again, play back to VWAP. So let it settle down, pick a direction, and then see what happens around VWAP. That to me is the best play here today for Reddit, or dip buys into 50, but then it has to basically go flat on the day.
I want to cut
Get
that in
back to
half.
50.
52.
52.50?
51, 50, and 52. Just because, like, when it did it had a decent run a couple of days after it got to market, and then there was, call it a dump, bouncing off 44, and then it's been a couple of days resisting 51 and a half, 52. So, you know, you break back to the downside. I just think with the level of volatility or a lack of liquidity that this has, you might have to expect a little bit more of a gap fill if it takes out the low, and I'd look for that 51 and a half, 52 area in there on Reddit. Like, that'd be the spot. Previous resistance into support, it was the most simplistic strategy that there is, and I'd rather be looking for a buy here. There's enough names with bad news in the market down that I feel if some things are going to catch a bid, like, you'd rather they be on the right side of it to begin with, at least for myself. So Reddit, I put in that category today.
All right, let's talk about Uber here. A number of things to note. You were just going through some of the headlines here on the cost side of things for Uber, but yeah, a bit of a problem here. Just double bottomed here potentially on the 15-minute chart, so just a heads up on that. But yeah, not much to say as far as positivity here for Uber.
Yeah, you'll recall that this company actually finally turned a profit and had done so for 3 quarters in a row. Now we're back into negative earnings territory again. They lost about $654 million on the quarter. That's the net loss. And they're trying to blame it on $721 million headwind, basically saying unrealized equity losses that they had to actually realize in this quarter. So not a good look here, but when you look at some of the other data points, revenue up 15% year over year, monthly active users, Brenda, almost 150 million people are using this every month, 15% year over year increase. Yeah, it's funny stuff, but I mean, strong demand.
No, I just laugh because I'm one of those.
Same.
And I still use the app and watch cabs drive by as I'm waiting for my Uber to come. So.
You know what? I don't use them as much as I used to, but I feel like I have not really had terrible experiences recently. I understand, like, there have been people complaining about wait times and all that stuff, but I think I've had some pretty decent success with it, and I pretty much only use them, I think, now for food delivery. You know, like, we're not using in DoorDash or anything like that. But if you look at this one on the daily chart, let's just pop up the daily chart. You were all, and again, you know, levels, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to always get a chance to trade off of them. I thought this was a short off of the 50 period. It didn't really get there the last couple of days, but you're already starting to base down, and you have an obvious level at 66 bucks. It's not really a flat bottom break. You're gapping through that and was only there for a couple of days. On the way up, it was a support level with some consolidation. So we get back into that level. I'm looking for the short. You've already tested it once in the pre-market on very light volume. I think there's a good chance you could test it again today. It won't be SSR or anything like that, so we get into that range. It's about 66 to 66 and a half. You can see in here at 8 o'clock, it was at that range. We get up $1 and change, and I'm looking to fade Uber. You know, LYFT for its money did a little bit better, but part of the reason why I think LYFT is so strong, if we're going to talk about both of them, is, you know, LYFT was lagging behind in terms of catching strength. So the fact that it's up 4% in some ways does speak to it hadn't had that fantastic run. Uber had already had the big wave of being added to the S&P 500 that it had to deal with. That brought it into some fresh highs. LYFT just didn't have as far that it had to come back to. But same thing, it's under the 50 period as well. Like, I'm not a huge LYFT fan. If I had to own one, it's easy. Like, I own Uber. And thankfully, yesterday I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I like that Uber. And I was joking. I'm like, yeah, but if I sell some Uber, I'm supposed to put that money into Tesla because that's kind of how I do. And didn't put it into Tesla, and I'll be able to get a better price. Who knew? Didn't know about that lawsuit news coming out this morning, though.
Yeah, so for Uber, look, shout out to my friend Nelson there. If you're in the chat, shout out to you because you nailed this one. I can go back and look at the DM, and you had said, hey, look, Tesla's releasing these robo-taxis. This is not good for Uber for sure. And whether or not that has nothing to do with this current move, because we're talking current quarter or past quarter, and then look at the guide. But yeah, Cannot. I mean, sloping down 50 period, heading right here to the 200. We're now looking smarter of getting out of that. We talked about this potential bump up that happened there for the S&P 500. And then for me, getting out in and around this area, it's like just like where it is now. So I missed this whole ride up to 80 bucks. But I don't really want to buy this name back. I'd rather see it at least come back into the 200 period. What we need to find are positive catalysts. So everything we're talking about are negative. And for right now, let's let Uber settle down. I mean, it's nice to see, is LYFT on? Okay, well, yeah, I mean, LYFT reported as well, but we're gonna wait to see here what happens with this name. Nice move early and then came right back in. So again, bumped up from 16.50 to 19 yesterday. And me and Adara were like, wow, that's a nice number. And Adara was saying stuff like, oh, those earnings lifted the name, things like that. But yeah, no, so now we'll have to wait to see what happens here because this name is sleeping and Uber is going downside. So I'm negative on both of these names for now, staying away. Neither one made the sticky note, but for me on Uber, patience until 60.
Collection right now. All right, we'll talk about shop here. First off, we are brought to you by our friends at Blue Chew. Guys, remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in convenient, chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at bluechew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and shipped directly to you. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code TraderTV at checkout. Pay $5 shipping. BlueChew.com. Remember, TraderTV. Try it for free. $5 shipping. Let's talk about Shopify. Wow, what a move here. Downside across the board. I mean, there's a lot to understand as far as the numbers are concerned specifically. Guidance, kind of in line with expectations. The one note that was maybe positive was the sales growth aspect, but market clearly not liking this one today.
Yeah, clearly not. I mean, look, they beat on the top and bottom line. Revenue, $1.9 billion instead of $1.84 the street was looking for. They also printed about 20 cents a share EPS loss. The street was looking for 17 cents, so that was a bit of a miss there. So they didn't beat on the bottom line, excuse me. But here's what really got things sent down. 50 basis point reduction in Q2 margin. The street was not looking for that as well, so that sent a big move down here, Bruno.
Yeah, it was, when I first read that this morning, I thought it was 50%. I did a double take quickly and realized it was 50 basis points. This note kind of interesting as well. Gross process sales was higher than expected, 60 billion. I just lost it there, but 60 billion. 60 billion in process sales versus 58 expected there, so that was another positive, but ouch, 20% here.
Yeah. Someone in the chat was just like, when can you buy Shopify? I mean, anybody can do whatever they want. I mean, you just gotta, if you bought it today, you're obviously better off than if you bought it yesterday. That said, the only level on the daily chart that even remotely stands out at this point is just underneath 60 bucks. I don't have to tell you that it's gonna open up short sell restricted. My first thought usually when you gap down is short back into previous support levels. That is now $5.50 away. The 200 period and $68. So you are a ways away from like an obvious level that's like, okay, that's kind of like an Alamo area that I would short back into. I mean, it's just what it has to do to get there is pretty spectacular. So you might be testing that 60 bucks before long. And if you do, it could still break 60 and be holding this gap area. When the nice run started on earnings last year in November, yeah, mid-November it was. So I think you have a decent chance to test that at $60. You know, I'll look for it. It'd have to be like a false break because really that level's 59.60, but not a great look for Shopify. The guide, like you can't be missing the guidance by that much in this environment and expect not to do well, although 19%. Didn't see that coming. Like I wasn't sitting here thinking Shopify was gonna do fantastic or blow things out of the water. I didn't have a strong opinion about it, but yeah, if you told me like what could be down 20% yesterday, I might have said, oh, I could see Rivian down 20%. I could see that. I just didn't really think Shop would do this.
Shout out here in the chat one more time to Ben A. You're welcome for the Intel short. I mean, it's so far it's so good. Again, the sticky note is now out. You guys can go find that. And it is, again, as it was written right here, as we talked about it early. We actually wrote this down before. Here, we'll try shorting ahead of 30. You know, we wrote this down before we were even in the position. And then as we wrote this part, we were already in. So here in the pre-market, we like the short to this one. It's up 8 days, the last 25. My target out is $30.25 if this thing gets nasty. So, you know, good look in there for you, Ben. And again, you have to hit the key, right? I can give the trade, but you guys have to put it on. So congratulations so far. Congratulations. I mean, you're in the game now. The stock's not moving. I am bidding for a dime down here if we can get to that low, and then hopefully break lower. So the thing about Intel, okay, it's not on the board, but again, Neil just talked about Shopify. I have the same feelings of that one. Let that one settle down. At least a 3-day play for that. Could be heading lower. But Intel, again, with a red market, I feel like the claws can come out because NVIDIA yesterday, you know, we had a down day. We've had a couple down days now. Let's see, well, into today. Let's see if this will continue to bounce in and around these highs and then back down into 800. So I'm looking for an NVIDIA short as well. That's another sticky note name, but I got to go get a water. So let's go back over to the desk and see what's up next with Tesla. We like that name.
Yeah, not today. Unfortunately, downside 2 days in a row. Yeah, pretty ugly yesterday. We actually closed right at day lows, just noting. Here we go again. This was yesterday, if you remember, a brief shutdown here, a couple of days for Giga Berlin for some upgrades. So that kind of kicked off a bit of the selling that came in early on yesterday. And then we get this pre-market this morning. U.S. prosecutors looking into the possibility of wire fraud when it comes to FSD. So big move down here so far.
Another day, another investigation into Tesla, so we'll have to see what pans out from there. Also coming out from the other side there in China, looks like as if, you know, what was made about full self-drive being a thing there may not come to fruition as quickly as once anticipated. It looks as if the Chinese government wants to get Tesla to get approval first before collecting and transferring all that FSD data into its system. So down about 1.5% right now, Brenda.
Yeah, it's been a while here for Tesla to the downside. I was just going to zoom out a little bit, but just quickly on this one as well, I saw a couple people mention Boot, B-O-O-T. There was a, who was it? Spruce Point Capital, short note on B-O-O-T. So not a lot of volume, but this one down, what is it? Better part of $10 here, pre-market for B-O-O-T.
Oof. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but Tesla, we do know what's going on here, and not all of this is going to be new. Like these were concerns that have already been there. So in some ways, there's a degree that this could be priced in. That said, like I was looking short for this name anyways in the first place. Like I put it in the same bucket as Intel. Like I was already looking short Intel. It had bad news last night, just liked it even more. Then it gapped down, so I liked it again. It retook a 30 level. We'll probably get into it in a second. Like I didn't like shorting it because it was underneath 30, but once it goes through 30, confirming down, I'm going to get into that trade. I think Tesla, I feel the same way. I sat down thinking 178. You know, support at 178, close 178. It was chilling out in the 75, 76 range. I'm shorting it into that price. Now you just got to make a bit of an adjustment. It's got a gap fill that you can kind of see in here that it just put in. If it can't get back above $173, just go from level to level. If it can't get back above $173, then I'd be looking short. Rivian's going to be on radar, obviously, today, but Tesla, 73. If it breaks out from there, yeah, I'd let it get back into the previous close. If it goes green today, I'd be a little bit surprised about that for Tesla. So down 3.5%. Investigation not necessarily good, but remember, it was kind of trend down. Well, I'd almost say 2 days in a row because unless you were, look, the long on Monday at 9:30 was spectacular, but by the time you got to 10 o'clock, it was lower highs, gap down, fade on a pop. And even the day before, like they really are fading every single buy event at the open on this stock. And when you see that happen every single day, where you get a big push up at 9:30, some kind of push up at 9:30, and then it just kind of sells off for the rest of the day. Well, you know what you'd like to be doing in that first 15 to 20 minutes. You can win on that long, but if you get the short, then you can be in it all day. And yeah, if you can be in a winning trade and then get to hold it all day for a winner, that's obviously much better than just getting a quick 5-minute, 10-minute runner. So I'm going to be shorting pops in Tesla.
All right, Rivian along the same lines here to the downside as well. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 negative notes here on Rivian coming off their earnings as well. On a miss. Just before we get into that, I wanted to mention this one as well. Snapchat down here significantly to 1630 right now. There was an offering, 650 million in convertible senior notes announced for Snapchat. So anyone looking at that one this morning, again, 650 million in convertible senior notes announced for SNAP under some pressure, as is Rivian.
All right, we talked about the top and bottom line, how they did with earnings, Rivian, and their planned delay for their Georgia plant for the R2, so we already discussed that. The other thing that we didn't discuss is they're actually lowering their capital expenditures about $500 million to about $1.2 billion total for 2024. Initially, they had looked to spend a lot more than that on their plants and as well as revamping some of their production lines for the newer models, but that we'll have to wait. So kind of a tougher look here.
Yeah, quick reversal yesterday off that Apple question mark headline. Comes all the way back to where it was the prior day, and now we've got to give back most of last week, guys, on this earnings move.
Yikes. Yeah, for Rivian, like I said, it's actually down that 6%. It might have been fortunate that there was a lot to chew through because it had gapped up yesterday. So that's a good,
There's a lot to blue chew through.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not a good thing. It's just it could be a much lower price if not for all of that overnight buy action the other day. You're back underneath the 50 period. The trend is unbroken here. You're so far away from $10.50 that the only thing to work for, you got 10 on any pop. I just want to be looking short pops. It closed twice at about $10.25. This close might be closer to 30. So if it were to break 10 even, it still has to get through. I like double closes. Closing price is significant. And if it closes at the same price twice in a row, if I'm looking in one direction, then I want to trade off of that in that direction. So I'm not really thinking the long here, unless Rivian's down in the 8s. I mean, if it gets down into the $8 range, that's where the support was for a while, down about $8.25, $8.30. So unless you're down there, I'm not really thinking about the buy. I think you could get a nice relief rally once it's at about $8.50 into the 8.25, but that's $1 away here. That'll stock could be way more than 10% down, which is part of the reason I thought it could have been down more. It would have seemed so natural that if it's bad, you just retest the prior support, which it sat at for half a month, and I think it's going to get there again.
All right, just setting up some orders right now. And you know what? I don't have any orders to go on Rivian, but we'll talk about it. We traded this yesterday, and we've been negative on the EV space for a minute, right? I mean, we haven't really traded Lucid in a long time, I feel like, over here on the show. But we do look at Rivian, good volume, 1.57 million. Again, even more than Ford or GM or anything like that. I indicated that 52-week low was $8.26. We're not going to get anywhere near there. But it was just more the loss, right? I mean, the loss was $1.48 when they were expecting $1.25. So again, just blowing through cash despite strong production figures. So at some point, I guess we just wait for that 57,000 number to grow to 87, to grow to 97, and then they'll start to hopefully be able to get that EPS into the green. I don't know how long that's going to take, but again, good guidance, 57,000 total units of production. We know that if they can get that done and they keep reaffirming that, then that's the right step. They have more demand than they can produce. That's generally a good sign for a business. Smarter people than I are hopefully running this thing, and they can get it all figured out. So as long as demand stays there, I know for firsthand that they're a pretty hot car. People like them. Let's see what winds up happening here with Rivian. They are a potential buyout target because they also have the van business as well. So don't forget about Amazon and some of the tie-ups. Not that they're going to get bought out by Amazon, but that they have the contracts to produce these electric vehicles, vans on the road for the behemoth that is Amazon.
They need those municipal. Randy was talking about this. You get those municipal contracts, like all those like trucks running around, utilities, parks, in basically every city, and you know a lot of them are going electric. Trust me, like they're all going electric in the next however many years. But Rivian just starts to need to land some of those, but then they got to still produce and make money.
So the problem is too is that the minute that they figure it out, what if Tesla just says, "Oh, we're going to do like a little pickup van"?
Exactly.
You know, and then all these companies just buy Teslas because they can get 100,000 of them delivered tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but back to this. Imbalance is out.
All right, guys, we are talking about trading IPO flips. Today, we're talking about SPACs, IPOs, and direct listings all week. In case you're wondering what a flip is, we're talking about taking the IPO long and short based on technical levels. Check that out with Adaira and I today on How to Trade at 11.
I don't think I've heard the IPO flip. I like that.
Yeah, the flip up.
Speaking of IPOs, Reddit,
The
recent
flipping
IPO, that's a big one for sure. There's some imbalances that just dropped. I mean, it's 925, so you're going to get a few out there. Palantir, nothing over $1 million. Palantir, 770,000 to buy. That's a day 2 play. Uber, 700,000 to sell. It's obviously not that great. iSun's a penny stock, so who cares? NIO's only 460,000. I just saw Intel, and now it's gone. But I mean, either way, it was.
Up.
No, it was.
Oh, there it is. It's a bit. It's 87,000.
Yeah, it was a second ago. It was 300 and something thousand. Now it's 87. So the only ones that stand out, Uber 700,000 to the sell side, and we know they're under a little bit of pressure here after a miss on top and bottom. So what do we got going here? Look, Tom Canty. No, I didn't say all new vehicles would be EV. I'm just saying eventually. I'm talking about municipalities and especially North America. Eventually, you're going to have a lot of the cities. I think most of them, just the way things are going, they're probably going to have electric vehicles. When you think about like those types of utilities, they're not driving very far. Usually, it's like a parks and rec thing. They service like whoever's right around. So some of the concerns about range and all that aren't a big deal for some of those municipal vehicles. I know for sure they're already talking about it here in some local municipalities. Shop is trying to go. Go Shopify. It's up $1, which. It's got a ways to go, but the Shopify down 18%. It's going to open up SSR. So if you could get a spike to the upside almost immediately, I was saying 68.5, 68.5 is the area that I'm looking for a fade in Shopify. Just want to also mention, I know we're in Intel, but Qualcomm was the other one that got that Huawei news back into previous lows. And this is just at when the news came out, it got to 179. So that's all you have to work off of. If that were to pop into 179, I also like that one for the fade. Still have some time in here. Tesla, it's trying to get to the upside, down 3.5%. Looking at 73. If it breaks this, I'd probably fade that one in front of yesterday's close as well.
All right, so here's 18,000 on the market. I mean, I feel like we have to get down to there and just test it. It's such a psychological thing. I like 18,000 there. Intel's starting to go upside a little bit on that buy imbalance. What's up, Brendan?
Heads up on Boeing here. It looks like a cargo plane has crashed upon landing in Turkey this morning. Just reading a note here. It was a FedEx cargo plane, so not much on this yet, but it was took off from Charles de Gaulle in Paris. So just a heads up on Boeing.
Nothing happening, which seems to be good. Hopefully there's no,
Hopefully,
hopefully it's on land. What do you say, on landing? So that's probably okay. So let's hope for the best on that one. Boeing's
Boeing's Boeing.
like you mentioned, it seems like every day, man. All right, so there it is. We did reload this name at $30.10. Not reloaded it, but just got more shares as we wait to see what's going to happen here with Intel. Now you can see my average price really isn't changing that much. We're taking smaller shares, so just trying to figure it all out as we go here. So Intel, still like the short. We're now double the shares that we had initially, and that's why we have this price. So let's not wait to see. We've doubled our position on Intel, but if we break above like 30, now I see this is at 30.30, maybe 30.30. I wrote down 30.25. I don't want to be Intel for very long. If it breaks, I don't want to be in Intel, okay, for very long.
I've done that one.
Yeah, if it breaks, like 30.30, 30.40, something like that, we're going to get out of this name.
I have 25 as my resistance
Yeah,
level.
25 is what I wrote down.
Because that was after if you look at it at 8 o'clock, that was like the first bump up. It got to 25. I want to just quickly before we open up here, GameStop still has that triple top at $17.50. It's not that close to it, but I mean, GameStop has done this before. So we mentioned this in the afternoon show, and in the last couple of days, it's the same triple top now 3 days in a row for GME. And if you want to squeeze, you have to break out resistance like that. So 17.5 going to be in play for me today on GameStop. Doesn't mean it happens today. Could happen tomorrow. You never know. But what is about to happen is the bell's going to get rung for this Wednesday in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. I feel like that was a little anticlimactic.
Well, we're open. Okay, so here we go. A little uneventful, but it's all good, baby. Here we go. It is Intel starting to go back up into $30.15 goes Intel off that open imbalance buy. So now we'll wait. We were waiting at 30.20. We just talked about some key levels that we like there as well. Doesn't get that high, but almost does. Gets to $30.15. Let's see if some Intel runoff will happen right now. In the next name is NVDA. I like this name. I'm sitting in and around 907 to see if we can get a bump up for NVIDIA. We just cracked up to 900, but did not break. So watch out for that one. Other than that, man, Tesla's down about 4% and still going lower, it looks like, trying to break through 171. So watch out for that one. It's 170.60 is the local bottom there for Tesla, but I'm not in anything other than that Intel that we had talked about there. So.
Shop's still trying to get to the upside. It's nowhere
right?
near that 66 just yet. And Rivian, yeah, you can forget maybe the short the pop, at least for now. I'm going to cancel. If you break the low of the day and I cancel my short that needs it to break up toward $10, just going to have to reassess and play it by ear. Pre-market highs are sitting at $9.70
Okay, come on, Intel.
On Shopify. Sorry, not Shopify. I mean Rivian. So Rivian already headed to the downside. I'm bidding pre-market lows because it makes sense, but I'm going to get something in the 90s. The low 90s as well on Intel. I'd mentioned GameStop breaking higher if it took out 17.5. No move to the upside there. So we're going to have to play the patience game. As what is moving big? NVIDIA 900, apparently. Right back to the 900 level. All roads lead to testing this 900, it seems, on a daily basis. It's so far away from afternoon resistance. That's another $8 from here. Bless.
Yeah, I'm still, Palantir is going all the way up. Thanks for that, Palantir. Yesterday couldn't do this. Well, it did do this yesterday, which was the problem. It went up and then it came back and I was like, all right, let's wait to see. But for right now, I'm going to be hands off of Palantir, waiting for that dip into 21-ish. Maybe we can use 21.50, but I just want to keep that on everybody's mind. Intel's still not doing anything. I put an order to break Tesla low through 170 if that happens. So we'll take a small position here on a break through 170. I just like the momentum here in the name. Obviously down 4%. I said we're short we're short Tesla until we get a 180. And until that, I feel like this momentum, here we go. It looks like we're going to get short. Looks like the momentum will continue in Tesla. But as we wrote down on the sticky note, everything can change if the market changes, right? Like if we get down to 18,000 and actually bounce, that's something. All right, here we go. I'm bidding 90s. Oh, I just got something out.
Fill 90.
Yeah, I got it to fill 92 or 93. 93 there. Now 90s. So again, we doubled. This is what we're talking about. We doubled up our position there on Intel pre-market. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But so far so good there, as we like that name. And I apologize. I mean, I don't apologize, but I'm not into anything yet. The other name that I want to look at quickly, and then I'll throw it back over to you, is going to be Alibaba. I like the 79 short. Almost got there, got to 78.50 on Baba, now just hovering around. So,
and nothing
Amazon, yeah, what is the market?
We got one fill in until it still could take the lows, which I think, that's going to have to be down at the 80s. But Uber in here, it tried to get to that 66, 66.5 area and immediately reversing. I don't want to chase bottoms here. Rivian, I'm now looking to short off the pre-market highs. It broke down. This is not the pre-market highs, the lower highs right here, about 967. That'll be about 10 cents, 15 cents worth of risk on Rivian because I like the $10 level just a little bit better. It was so close to getting QCOM on a pop. And it's still kind of trending back up here, but I was sitting just in front of 179. It got to 178.5, so got to be patient. There is some strength. The market's trying to make a little bit of a bid, and shout out to everyone in the chat that pointed out the runner yesterday in the morning was actually Amazon, and Amazon making a bit of a run to the upside.
That's hilarious.
There. But I'm watching Tesla for the, that was not one of the things I wanted to short. Tesla was, and that just came to pre-market highs. Your eggs smell delicious there, Sharif, as usual.
Yeah, man. All right, so it's funny that you mentioned Amazon. We just got into Amazon. We had Amazon long the last couple days. I'm playing the short now on Amazon. So let's just see what winds up happening here against that high of 188 and change. I mean, just a nice little bounce off right off of there. We do have that high of 189. Look, we had a nice little candle to the downside there. Let's see if Amazon wants to sing. And right now, oh baby, she's singing quite loud and quite nicely as there goes Amazon to the downside. Looks like we'll see a little bit here. We don't want to stack too much cash early in case we're right and this thing really cracks. But there it is right there. We'll start the day off with a nice 2-for-2 little shout out for my Amazonian friends over there, because now we'll wait to see what happens. We're short Amazon 187.90 back there, Obi. I hope Obi approves of that one. Right now it is 50 cents. How could he not approve of a 50-cent winner? So there it is right there. Starting it off here today. Let's see what happens. 2 outs there. Again, a little early to be celebrating too much. It's 9:35, but take some off and reward yourself.
Never too early.
Yeah, no, it's never too early to take profit, but I mean, I don't know if Amazon's actually going to tank here.
A little birdie told me that if you don't take profit, you don't win in the markets. And that birdie was reality and facts. I mean, whatever. It's an obvious thing to say, but you still have to do it. So I wanted Tesla for a fade, and obviously things changed when that lawsuit came. So lower high here, 172. I grabbed on the way back down, ended up 66s. I scalped a 50-cent move, and it's catching a bit of a bid. Sorry, it caught a bid at 9:30 at $170. So I'm going to get this out at 170 because that's like a flat level break at 170. And if it bounces a second time, I do want to get out of that one. We'll go over to, I mentioned Uber was making a little bit of a move to the upside. Still not really breaking into the resistance that I'd like to see. So let's be patient here. Uber down 7%, but catching another bid.
All right, we put another bid on Amazon at 50. Hopefully it gets down into there. Or did I put it at 50 or 40? Maybe it was 30 something. Anyways, we're going to wait for that one. Intel, a couple good fills down there again. We already talked about that one. Let's go over and have a quick look at Palantir. Oops, PLTR. I should definitely know that symbol. There it is. It was so funny. Like, I can't even learn from yesterday. That's the craziest part. That we said, oh my God, here goes Palantir. It's ripping up. Oh, but wait a minute. That's exactly what it did yesterday.
What?
And then it did this yesterday. And now today is today. So there goes Palantir all the way back down into 21.20 again.
Note to self, do not buy until it makes a low.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Let stock make low.
Daryl, what's up, Daryl? 164 average on Shopify. Good little play there on this beleaguered Canadian, I guess, commerce play at some point. Again, help you build your websites. Was that a call for Brendo, by the way?
I think so.
All right, let's go.
You have Teva Pharmaceutical popping up here. TEVA, nice move off the open on an earnings. Sales beat, but EPS miss here for TEVA, up about 11%, guys.
Teva, huh? So RIVN just made, oh, no, it's still going to the downside. It's Tesla that made the up move. We did scalp out halfway. It holds a higher low.
Look at Amazon,
Adhere to the stop as it goes up, so make sure you stay green. Make sure you adhere to your stop every single time. I got to get some RIVN. It's going to have to be VWAP in here. 950 as RIVN continues to fall to the downside. I have another bid in front of the low on Intel. I wasn't going to take more out in front of 90s, but there's a buyer at 90s. 91, 92. Can't seem to get past there. I'll take another leg out there. But RIVN, which we did want short, I don't want to chase it too far, but we're going to have to get something in front of that 950 level, it looks like.
I mean, what are we even talking about here? Look at Amazon as well. I mean, it's so far so good. Again, we only have 2 plays on board right now. I'm just logging in here I forgot to pay for some shorts in case or get logged in case I need some. All right, so good fill. I mean, for now, we take a 50 period there. That was out at, I remember I told you 50, but it was 34s, so we got a 36 fill, sorry there. Now here's a bump back up to the upside now for Amazon again. Another fill down there on Intel. I'm not sure this one's going to work, actually. I thought this would be, and I say that, and then you watch, probably going to tank, but I feel like it should have gone down already a little bit more there. But with this moving up, this just makes me think about what NVIDIA could possibly be doing. And here we go. We are at 907, and I'm just going to put out a stop now. If we break through 910, I just don't want to be stubborn about the stop, because that's where I get carried away. It's like, I like the trade, but then maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not. Let me get back in, let me not. And then next thing you know, I'm more confused than I even am right now. So that's something that I'm going to wait. Look at that move down there for NVIDIA. Good one there. Hopefully that can print us on Amazon, which right now is a nice one. Good little trade there, 50 cents in the money. We'll see if we can get even lower than that. I liked Apple short, but the thing, and I said this to Sharif actually today, I said, I think Apple trades lower, sideways to lower from now until the developers conference. That was such a great move up to 185. Yeah, Sharif, I'd rather it go higher though, as I think we both would. But everybody in the world would, I think, if you're invested. But 185. I mean, a lot of people are short Apple actually. That's so 185 right there, including my guy Obi in the back. You can't even say Apple without this guy hitting the sell sign. But right there, 185. We got to get above there to change, right? And so that's something there for Apple. We had that bet today, Neil. What do you think? Apple 200 first or Tesla 200 first? What would you say?
Apple.
Apple, that's what I said as well. So we had a couple Tesla.
Who said Tesla?
Adara said Tesla, and Obi said Tesla.
Okay.
And Ramin is now on the clock for a guess as well. I want to hear Ramin's guess. Apple, which right now is at 182. And we got to get back to trading, so I don't know. And Tesla's at 172. Ramin, let me know in my ear what your pick is, and then we're going to put it as a poll. So, and then I want to know Bears versus Bulls as well. So I want to know Bears versus Bulls answer and Ramin's answer, and then we'll put it as a poll. But for right now, poll be damned. What is sliding down a poll? And no, it's not your favorite Friday night. It is Amazon making a move down to the downside right now. So here we go for Amazon, taking a little dip, and let's see if we can get a little lower. We're bidding 187.
Oh, that's an ominous number, that's for sure. But guess what bounced pretty much exactly off that 51.5 and is right there again? It's going to be Reddit. Reddit calming down. Actually, the spread's not bad on the stock. Liquidity's, I say it's really not that bad on Reddit here. It's just back above the 52. I wanted to look for a dip buy-in here. So we've got it now off a higher low. Now, because I missed this little move right in the first time, clearly we're trading a couple of other things at that moment. I'm going to give it to the higher low. That's 51.70s or so on RDDT. Reddit, nice mover. One of the few names that was actually up on earnings, so that I would look to buy the dip. It bounced pretty much in exactly the zone I wanted. So I'm going to give it just underneath that 51.70. Shopify, if you're looking for a bounce, here it goes. So Shopify was born SSR this morning and continues to be. If it makes a run at that pre-market high, still want to fade Shopify, but we have to let it get up there, and I don't know what we're doing with RIVN. At some point, maybe I just have to short the low of the day, because RIVN is at the low of the day. The stock is terrible. You can't even get a pop. You can't even get a pop to go short. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that stock is very, very terrible. So... Oh, oops, I just canceled my NVIDIA offer by accident. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, I got to put that back. It was at 9. Okay, new position. Right now we are short. Tesla is in the building right now again. So we'll see what happens here with Tesla. Good little short up here. Well, I don't know if it's good or not. We're short at 15s here for Tesla as it's trying to pull back down a little bit. Just a couple hundred shares. We'll see if it goes to the downside now or not. We'll take a little bit out here on Tesla. There we go. We're out of about half of that position. Again, when we're trading, in this share size, I mean, we could trade higher, but at this point, if we could just start to add in a little bit into our net, we'll do that right now for Tesla. So let's start bidding a little bit. We got that against the high right there of 50. My stop is already in. So let's see if Tesla can go to the downside a little. I think I have a little bit more right now. I was bidding 70s there. I'm going to take something out at 80 on that level as it just bumps right back up. So let's be careful. Like I said, out of half, this probably goes the market. If we turn, we know we like Tesla short. So this is worth, in my opinion, throwing a little bit of money at it. Amazon still 50 cents in the money and already taking some profit here on Tesla, but a break above that high and we fly high, no lie. We out of here. It's Tesla. And by the way, also, Ramin goes Apple. So we got, well, there it is. Are we out? Nope, we're almost out. It was a little bit, a couple more pennies break higher, and we will be out. There it is, out of that Tesla. So we'll slap a fail on it. We did get out of half. We wind up losing net on everything, 15 cents. So still an L on Tesla there, but we did lose 15 cents on that play, net. So because I can see my net, and we don't tell you the P&L, but I've got that math figured out. So that was that there on Tesla.
Yeah, that was that 8 o'clock high. I shorted that same level as well, just to just be clear. Like I still like the short in Tesla, but might have to wait for 178 or one of those levels. There was a quick question about a firm. A firm tried to break out. It is reversing in here, and I just wanted to very, very quickly. A firm underneath 36.70 is a problem because it's 3 days in a row that it has failed that price. If it can't punch through there, this looks like a short to me. If it gets through 36.70, it's probably even a breakout. I'd be willing to go long a firm through 36.70, but until it breaks that price, I think it's a short. Dara.
Another earnings name to keep an eye on. This one here, a small cap, Innodata, INOD, short float of just over 10% here. Did report an earnings beat, including unexpected profit this morning. So nice move here for INOD, trying to make new day's highs and strong volume, guys.
All right. Another shot if we can get to 174. So I'm going to wait for that to happen now. So in and out of Tesla, they're not great. All right, so we'll wait. But what has been good is right now we have our first dollar club. So here goes Tesla. Here goes Amazon making that move back down in there. So for some reason, this name today wants to get hit. And hey, wait a second, I'm not bidding down there? Oh, I thought I was bidding 187. All right, I think I was. I canceled some of my orders, but it doesn't matter. Here we go. Here comes Amazon. This is, I mean, come on. Once, twice, thrice. I mean, we hit this name, short side, Amazon. We talk about that. When you believe something, trade something. I believed Tesla was a short. I hit it. Same way, we believe this is a short. We hit it. There goes Amazon to the downside. Remember what I said? A 15-cent hit on Tesla net. Right? Honest, that's what it was. Now, when you're taking $1, something like that on Amazon, it puts the risk to reward a little bit more into perspective. So, so far so good. It's a green day here, and we are having the time of our life.
Watch out for Intel. It's coming right back into those 10s. So I still like it underneath that pre-market highs, no matter what. And if it breaks that pre-market high, we get out. I should have just got into a firm when we mentioned that one.
About Meta.
It just flushed through that VWAP. So I'm going to short the first available pop in a firm. It was looking like a breakout earlier, as you can see, but underneath that triple top, going to be nasty and nice. I can get mine, my vote in there. Most people are saying Apple.
People are getting to the voting very fast.
They're all over it. But there's two of the options are Tesla or Apple. So really, it's like mostly
There's two Apple options?
Yes, it's Tesla, Apple. I didn't read it. It says something else.
Okay, well now it's pretty much Ramin's an insider. Come on, at least capitalize her name. You know, put some respect. Oh, she wrote it. Okay. My bad. See how I had her back there though? You know, I was trying to be like, yo, put some respect on her name, but she put it on her own name. All right, so I selected Apple Clean, but if I saw this, I would have selected that. But Apple Clean there.
I had already.
So we'll select Apple, but the best part about Tesla is the activity and the volatility behind Tesla. There's a lot of stories that could come out basically at any time, including like, oh, my bad. Yeah, China, we cool. Then you get back to $200 almost immediately. I don't think that's how China operates, like that kind of terminology, but we'll wait to see.
Well, if anything, they said pump the brakes on the automated driving.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if they come back and are like, yeah, all good,
They said
then,
the other way.
Yeah, then we could have a problem. But there's Tesla. We said about shorting the 174. It almost got to us right there, to be honest with you. 173.57. I'm at 170. I'm at the 75 level. So I'm at 3/4, 173.75 against this level. We're dollar. I mean, this is a big trade right here. So, Jerome's phoning because we just got NVIDIA. Okay, Jerome, I see. I got to be worried about this position. All right, so right there, he just wanted to remind me. Of course, he watches the show. Shout out to you, Jerome. Thank you for letting me know that we just got NVIDIA flying in right there. He's like, look, man, I told you we may potentially be cutting rates soon. Do not short the market. Okay, well, we have an offer to get out if this trade is wrong up at 9.10. So we already talked about not being so foolish about said position. We'll average in a little bit there, maybe at 9.09 and change, but watch out now. Do not stand in the way, says Mr. Powell, of this behemoth. So let's wait to see here. I'm here for this. 9.08 right now, a nice little level here. Tesla also could be getting short soon. Here it comes back to the downside. The thing is, my P&L shows negative, but we could have got out there because the spread right now is a juicy one at 80 cents. Right there, it's a face slapper. Now let's get down to the downside here if we can go a little bit lower. I told you, Jerome, we all good. There's another fill for $1. So right now, there it is, man. Hit the reload on that one, and let's get down right now. Hey, Miss Adara, sorry for leaving you hanging, but it's a $2 winner on NVIDIA.
Microsoft here, watch out for this. This is circulating right now, though it was released via the White House earlier today, but now Microsoft announcing a $3.3 billion investment in Wisconsin. Up into 2026, they're going to be investing that $3.3 billion over the course of the years ending in 2026, but basically saying that it's going to be spurring AI innovation and economic growth. White House initially announcing this, but now Microsoft has officially announced this as well. MSFT investment in Wisconsin, guys.
Okay, I thought I heard that overnight, but
Green Bay.
Go Green Bay, go Brewers and trade us Christian Yelich. Thank you very much. That'd be really nice. The Jays need something. I'm a fan. I got Qualcomm. We said we'd be on the offer of this in front of that news price, the Huawei news. It was 181 was the absolute top. You had a 180 close price, so we're short in front of that 180 level at 79.56. Intel came back to that 3010 level as well. But the big flyer, just to update, I know a lot of people are yelling and screaming about Meta. Meta's doing it again. Meta was like the only long yesterday in the afternoon that was any good for me that wasn't GameStop. And it feels like it wants to make a run breaking out yesterday's highs, which is 471. It's got to get back above that price, or I'd be looking at something like a VWAP. But at this point, with the market almost green, still going back to what we wanted to do. We're sitting in Intel, which is back underneath 30. That's good, but just got into Qualcomm. I'm going to get some out once it breaks 179. VWAP's down at $178 as well. So watch out. I just keep hearing Shopify in my ear every 2 seconds.
No, it's their call. The call's on.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so the conference call is on for Shopify. Maybe that's why Shopify is not doing anything. Shopify back and forth here. Hasn't broken highs. Hasn't made a run at the lows. I still think it's going to be a good move. I wanted to short off the pre-market highs, but I'm glad I'm not in it because I don't like being in things when the call's on. So good luck.
All right, we have a huge trade again, man. This time we got reloaded on NVIDIA. Look at that trade. We just got short at 909.30s. So here we go, $2. Let's see if it wants to drop from here. Let's wait to see what's going on here. We just took a couple more outs. Again, this probably, I mean, with the market doing what the market's doing, we have to take profit. All right, it's going to break higher. I was hoping the market would bounce off of this. Watch out now for this trade. We are short at 908.70. So we're another $2 in, $1 in right now. The net is going crazy here. All right, Palantir. We talked about waiting for this one. So let's go, man. All right, we're $1. We're huge. Look at this Amazon trade. I don't know where to go right now for you guys. We have Amazon's $1. We have Intel's pretty nice. We have Nvidia's $1.34. We have Palantir. We're going 4 for 4 right now, and they're all kicking. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, despite losing on Tesla. So far, so good here. It's a monster day. I hope you guys are having a good one. We battled back, man. Yesterday, we got kicked in the face. Today, we're sort of starting to do well. It's only 9:53. We need a little bit more. Let's see what happens now. It's trading, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah, just need some follow through on some of these moves. The market's still pressing to go green. When it's pressing to go green, I'm still working some shorts. Just 2 quick updates. Come to the chart, quick, Ram. Oh, sorry, it's Fabian. RIVN came out, it broke that pre-market high, just wicked it. I'm going to go for the short again off of that pre-market top. It's the opening range high that it just took out. And looking for the reload in Qualcomm, it's not really giving it to me at the same price. So if it makes lower highs, that's good for a short. If it makes lower highs, that's good for a short, but it also means you might not be able to get the same print that you did before. Intel is holding $30. It's battling this $30 level. Cannot get filled at the top at 30.15. 30.10 is basically the best price you can get, and then bids in the low 29s is going to be the play. The other thing that's day 2 that is SSR going is Disney. Disney's on a relief rally. It was this, Datadog, Palantir, and a couple of other ones, putting in some nice higher lows. I think if it tests VWAP, I think you want to grab that one on some kind of a dip, because if the market keeps going, I like those plays. I got to cancel this Affirm short. Affirm just already dropped $2, so if Affirm gets back to VWAP, it has to move $2 to get there. I'd make a judgment call whether I still like it if it goes $2 from these lows. I'll look for some other kind of a short there in Affirm. Did miss the opportunity back through VWAP here.
All right.
Oh, GameStop.
Yeah. We're back. I mean, honestly, we just got out at 905.50 on that NVDA trade. That's a $4 winner. Just very, very silently putting these numbers up right here. Amazon $1, Intel we took a little bit of. Oh no, we did not. I thought we took more bids right here. I'm getting tired of Intel, to be honest with you. Palantir, there we go. Sorry about that. I just got to fill out O's. I was telling you that I was trying to do that. We'll wait for NVIDIA now. I mean, now if it breaks above, we should be fine. I mean, with the slippage, I don't know, but a couple outs there as we still hold half of our reloaded position there for NVIDIA, just in case we're right and the market does finally go to the downside. But as we had mentioned, it's not looking like a downside push for the market right now, which has been pretty amazing that we've had Amazon all the way down there today. So that's going to be a big trade for me. And then Palantir, we were very, very patient with this. So we've got to 21. We're making some money back, but you know, not like yesterday. If it goes, it goes. We still need a little lower to get too excited about Palantir. So that's why I wound up getting out. When the market is on a beeline like this, straight to the upside, and Palantir can't even get going off of a bottom that I like, then I'm gonna be hard pass for now on PLTR. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit more damage on that name, but for now, we're out of more than half of Palantir, as I'm not in love with this play. I mean, this NVIDIA play to me is going to be hot fire. I don't have any more bids. Let's see how far this name can go down. Can we not get back to where we were at the open, 900, if not even lower than that? That would be a monster for me, and we're going to hold out to see if we can do that. So down there for NVIDIA, wholesale inventory is coming up. So far, so good. What's going on over there?
Yeah, a couple of minutes until we get wholesale inventory. Had a cough there. Wholesale inventory is a couple of minutes. It's not a gigantic number, but we should have it on the radar. The next time Intel gets under 30, I'm going to take a couple more legs out. It's putting in very subtle higher lows. Uber turning right around. My screen's doing it again.
Yep.
Can someone check the connection to my screen?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, fine.
Well, yeah, they could check it.
Yeah, it's just it keeps blacking out, and it's like my trading screen.
Blackout.
But 67 on Uber does end up holding. You got a nice upward trend, but this is pretty much where we wanted to be playing it. If I'm not getting any more Qualcomm up here, can't seem to get through 179.5. I do like Uber at this price. The high is 67.22, so I would give any short into that level, but it's got to be above 66.5 for the risk to reward to work. So I need something in here that's going to give me less than 50 cents worth of risk. You got VWAP, 50 cents lower from there on Uber. I already mentioned what we got to do with Intel, and that's the next time it's under 29, get more than one fill. If it drops under, I take one fill and then just holding, like somehow I should be holding 80% of the position when it's not really moving. But we'll take a little bit more out next time. And Affirm, Yeah, so if you want to short the next pop or the next consolidation, it's still just dropping. Not much to sink your teeth into unless you're willing to take out those lows. I do want this one to the south side after it failed 36.70, but VWAP is $1.70 away on a firm. It was up, but not so much anymore.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait for these numbers. I mean, these numbers are going to be coming out right now if we go over and have a quick look to see what exactly we're waiting for. It is, wholesale sales for March, wholesale inventories for March. Expected minus 0.4 on the inventory and the sales 2.3 prior. So we'll wait to see if we can get a report on that so far. As we had mentioned, Shopify in play today, down 20%. Off earnings. Oh, I got to drink more water. I have a splitting headache again here today. I don't know why. All right, let's, maybe it's a low ceiling. No, it was raining last night. Maybe.
Weather is going to be changing.
Meta to 180. I mean, Meta to 180. Meta
180?
No. Meta to 480. 480. Remember last week when I was like, oh, Meta's going to be at 470? All right, what's up, Adara, for numbers?
Just waiting for these numbers here. At 10 a.m., expecting the wholesale inventories month over month consensus. And so we got it exactly in line here. Negative 0.4%, exactly in line with the consensus and the forecast. So this is a bit of a drop from the previous month of positive 0.5. SPY not reacting too much here. Both the SPY and the NASDAQ slightly down on the day. So a bit of a move down and then I'm trying to move back up here in the first half hour of open. A lot of today, though, is going to be the market reacting to earnings, including those from Upstart. Initially falling to the downside here on weaker than expected Q2 revenue forecast, but they did beat across the board. So trying to crawl back to the upside here, still down about 7% for UPST. We also have Reddit initially performed very well here on stronger than expected numbers and a stronger than expected Q2 2024 revenue outlook. Right now, they're just topping and turning in this range around this 52 area, up about 5% still. So earnings absolutely on watch here, guys.
I forgot about Upstart. I mean, obviously, Affirm is adjacent to it. Affirm was only down in the aftermarket because of the Upstart number, and I think that might have trapped some people. So you got to watch out for that. I just reloaded on QCOM, and then AMD got right to the afternoon resistance at 155 and wicked it. So I'm into that one at the 155 level, or just underneath the 155 level. So we're all chips short. Still like some. I mean, Disney's continuing to go. I like that for a day two SSR play. But yeah, but it's not. If you're looking for an SSR bounce, the idea is not really to be buying highs. It's generally to be buying off of a support level and getting a bounce. So it's going to have to move down to like 105 or something to get me into that one. And Affirm, maybe we get Affirm short, but that's going to have to do some heroic move to the upside on AFRM, I think, to get me in. VWAP sits at 154 on AMD. That's a reasonable first target for that name. And I said if we got underneath 30s again, let's get a couple of fills. This time on Intel, I got two, so I don't know why I had a third there. Now low of the day sits at 29.85 or so. Gonna get one more out in front. If this holds underneath VWAP, then you can accelerate. The other thing Intel's doing is a double bottom break post earnings. That's the other thing about that 30 level. So it makes some sense that you're getting a battle or a war here at that $30 level.
Yeah, I mean, we're ready. I mean, I told you we're seeing red today. Yeah, all the damage being done short, right? Amazon damage done, man. Intel damage done. NVDA damage still continuing to be done, I'm hoping, for a downside move here for NVIDIA. My bid is at 901. So, yeah. Although VWAP now is, I mean, it's changing pretty dramatically here. Now it's at 902.50. I mean, I could get that. What is that? That's 9. It doesn't matter. We're a minute away from that happening, anyways. So let's wait. I mean, honestly, NVIDIA is actually hanging out really well upside. I think it's like to me. So this is the thing. This is what I always have to battle with, of course, is that I'm always thinking about everything as we should be. I feel like, and the thing is like now I'm looking at this and just saying. We've been bouncing off of this 906 and then bouncing off of 909.50 or 909. There's a $3 range right here that you could probably scalp back and forth until the market figures out a direction. And then just make sure you have enough left on like that's what scalping is. You don't want to get out of everything. You want to keep a little bit on in case you're right, you know, or whatever direction breaks on that scalp. Because like if you just go short only and then it rips and your plan is to scalp it, then you either got to take a long when it breaks or, right, decide to yourself, there is a range, I'm going short and I'm just going to give it up and get out and only hold that, you know, 30% or whatever percent works for you, because right now it's doing the same thing again. I could have just shorted 909 and then just got out at even 906.50. Like make $1.50, $2 twice. That's the same as a $4 move. You know, as long as you have, see, here we go. As long as you have that piece on again. So now we make that, okay, here, and now it's going to break. So here it goes all the way back up. We've entered into, okay, maybe not. Wait a second. I thought I had another offer up there. Okay, we should have got short again. So that would have been another short. I thought we had that. I don't know why we're not. I'll put it back in there. That's hilarious. So there it goes. Talking too much and ignoring my, I feel like my NVIDIA, that's twice I've canceled offers on this. All right, now we're back there. So we'll get this fill at 50 if it comes through again, and then just get out if it breaks 10. What I was going to do if I got that fill was scalp it out. And we did have a good opportunity to do that, but we didn't catch the fill. So for right now, we're in these shorts, but the market's at highs. So it's a little bit of a dilemma, but the other thing that's happening for us is we have one short, 4 shorts, but one long, and that one long is Palantir. Let's take a piece out for 10 cents. There it is. We take it out at, take it out at 19s there. Now let's see what happens.
Yeah, the long theme I feel like today is day 2 earnings SSR bounces, because I waited for a dip in the VWAP on Disney here. Don't want to be buying highs. If the thesis is it's a relief rally, then I want to be buying dips or buying support levels. It didn't quite get to VWAP. It bounced at 70 first, and then I got it back through 80 and paid 82s. It got above 6, and it takes them out into the high of the day. If as long as this holds VWAP, I'll like the long. But if it gives up VWAP, I'm done with it. You could easily retest the lows. Disney was at least more disciplined for me than Palantir was. Like I tried 5 SSR, like 5 bounce plays on Palantir. And one of the, well, 2 of them worked. One of them was for too few shares because I couldn't get a full position off the open. And at least Disney, I only did it 1 time. But if it's going to trend up, VWAP is a good start. This market continues to go higher, and maybe just, okay, I was about to say maybe that meant that a firm was going to pop back into VWAP. The firm has since dropped another $1. Like, are you kidding me? Wow, a firm. No, it's like,
no, it's a dangerous name that way.
No, but I was like, if it's going to break VWAP, let's try to get it.
There
It'll
goes
consolidate,
NVIDIA.
it'll do something. And unfortunately, a firm is just way too weak. Oh, that's going to be the miss of the day. Like back through, yeah, oh, it is what it is, guys. But that is really, really reversing. I'm going to check Upstart in a quick little second, but I got to get over to Advanced Micro Devices. Upstart was already down 35% short float. So that should be moving around a little bit. I don't wonder if that's going to be a fade the way a firm is going. They're adjacent. They're not the same thing. But AMD is going to retest these highs. So I want some money fills over 155, not just under.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so we did break on NVIDIA, but now the tank happens, so let's bid out some more, spin it upside again as we did that play. The break out, the fade. It can easily go against you when you do that. And then we said that you can add more and more pain to your day. So let's take a piece out and at least get something on that break back to the downside there. So here it comes, starting to fade back in for NVIDIA. I mean, now we have even more shares now than we did before, but we did get stopped out. We are well up. NVIDIA is my #1 stock right now as we come back in for that level. Let's put a bid at 907 if we're lucky enough to get that. We'll take $3. Okay. Okay, Neil. Yes, sir. That's NVIDIA right there. Nice move to the downside, putting that back in where it deserves. A short for now on NVIDIA.
Get going, NVIDIA.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm only chip short right now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Good call. We're short NVIDIA and Intel for 25 minutes now. Good call.
Oh, no, Intel low of the day, by the way.
Intel low.
Yeah, it's at well, 1 penny away.
Let's go.
1 penny away from the low of the day. I just got a bid at 83s. But I want Upstart. If you're going to tell me Upstart is only down 10% and a firm just died like a horrible death, so if this gets underneath VWAP And just anything underneath like 2180, I think I want to go for the short. Like when I see what happened, for what an unbelievable miss that was not getting it short. But AMD was the third name that we got. Come on, Upstart, break VWAP. All right, I'm not going to sit there and stare. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. I'm sitting in front of the bid at VWAP. I haven't gotten any yet, so I'm just going to quickly scalp out the 50-cent move. And if it breaks VWAP, we're going to hold for lower down at 153. But this could be the chance on UPST. Just looking for this nice little consolidation at some point underneath VWAP to join this short. It's SSR. You're not going to be able to hit the bid to go short. You're going to have to get it on an uptick because it was down 35%. And Uber just came in to our, well, we're short off the highs, 66.88. Always pick those double numbers. The local high is 67.20. So I said I wanted to short at the top end of this range. Uber is upward trending. The reason I liked it was just fill the gap, show a level, short that level if it shows any resistance there. So we're into Uber for the first time.
Yeah, it's now $5 in the money with NVIDIA, so that's going to be a good one. Plus, we have sticky note idea number 1 and 2. I mean, Tesla didn't work, but Intel, I mean, as we wrote it down here, the short, almost exactly to our price, $30.25. Right there, short Intel, $30.08 right now, as that just continues to go lower. And again, we didn't, the news just for Intel, I mean, we posted it out there, eight green days in the last month and a half or more, or less actually, I think. So we'll have to wait out for that one. More outs on Palantir as we go out there at 20s and then again at 15s for this name. Not super in love with the short, the long right now in the market. We've already made this move up. Like I said, this is a nice move, man. We were down 0.6. Now we're only down 0.2. And Palantir is basically at the lows. So not in love with that one. In love with Intel, in love with Amazon, and looking for some more. The other name that we had on here was NVIDIA. We've already, I mean, 908 short to 910. We have that. We have 910 right now, $4. The other name was Alibaba. That was the one that we didn't look at yet. So let's have a quick, ooh, okay. This is acting exactly the way you think it would. A name that's been strong. We've really liked the long on this name. I preferred the short today if we got up to 79. So we're still sitting there. This order's still there at 78.75. So let's still take that fill, not changing it. 78.75 for Alibaba. Let's see what winds up happening.
78.75. You know what? That's the exact reason why sometimes in your long term you just set the order and you forget it. Because, you know, I just recently bought that one at, I'll have to double check, it was north of $80, but I said I would wait for strength, and it's right back unrated.
Yeah,
you know what?
Be good.
I told myself I was going to get into that position and not care for at least half a year to a year. Like, I'm not thinking about that till 2025. That's the plan of action for me. It would have to tank like 30% or something. I got a halfway to VWAP on Uber. We'll zoom it in because you have a pretty sizable gap. Oh, I got these dark pool wicks as well. So we got 66.88, just got some out right in front of the mid-dollar, and then VWAP is sitting at 66, so we got a bid down there as well. Intel keeps bouncing off the low, but I feel as if the market's going to do what we're seeing here, which is reverse off of overnight support. So we get to overnight support and we're dumping. Also late afternoon support yesterday, and we're dumping. I'm going to favor the shorts. The one long I have is an SSR bounce play off of VWAP on Disney. It would be a heck of a lot better at the open, but we were trying to get into some shorts at the open, so we missed it. As long as it holds VWAP, I'm okay with it, but with the market at a high and breaking down, I don't know if this is the timing to reload. I feel like this is not the exact moment that I want to reload on Disney longs. If it breaks VWAP, we'll just get out of it. It's the only thing that I'm long at this point and looking for other opportunities. D. Westermeyer, shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. Neil, the answer, stop asking in short Intel is on the current 8-ball. I feel like that is a timeless answer and should probably be on the new one. Yeah, I'm cool with that, but I mean, at some point, I hope that's not going to be true. I've been waiting patiently to get some shares in on Intel. I said either next year or $25. So at this point, I think the answer to that's going to be $25 and not next year. the way that it's going, especially if it fails 30 today. You're then one stone's throw away. That's a week for Intel the way it's been trading. So let's flush it to the downside. Uber had to wait for it to show you the high because it was so strong, but that's a short back into VWAP. We just got VWAP. It's a 90-cent win. We were risking 30 cents. We scalped some 1-to-1, and now we're getting out. Probably going to have to stick a fork in the idea of Upstart. That's not setting up at all. AMD's trying to bust through VWAP, so we reloaded at 155. This was the last name on my note. But the reason why I had this on the morning mix is because out of nowhere, shorting AMD was my #1 stock yesterday. And I thought that I was going to do the most trading in Palantir, and ended up second most trading was in AMD, and it should have been the most because I had a better read on it. And it came right into that 155. It's at VWAP. I want to look for a break of VWAP, and then we'll trail that one out. Disney could be in trouble here, like everything else that's long.
Yeah, I mean, great trading all around today. Look what NVIDIA is doing right now. We're up amazing right now on NVIDIA, but still bidding that 901 in case the market falls. I mean, this is a $6 winner on numerous shares up here to the downside. We took $10 on this yesterday. Not that we're going for 10 even again. I just thought we could get back into here. I mean, we almost hit 902. I mean, these tops at 9. I mean, you know what? Honestly, the difference between 901.20 and 902 is $1. But yeah, we'll just ring the register if it comes into 902 again. Look, you know, take the profit here if you want it. It's a good trade. Right back into VWAP. I mean, if the market makes a move, then we'll have a much bigger play than we can even imagine. So let's wait to see what's happening now with NVIDIA. I'm bidding 902. And shout out to Mr. Westermeyer as well. He just mentioned there, I said, all you really need on there is ask the sticky note. And that's already on the new one as well. So you don't have to ask Intel. You don't have to do anything. The Intel's already written down there on the note today. And there it is. It's a nice move down. We both like that name. Thanks, Mr. Westermeyer, for your continued support here on the show. And here's our other 8-ball that was custom made for us.
We love it.
Will NVIDIA hit?
We should have asked Apple.
Yeah, 902.01.
902.10. No, 10. 902.10 you wanted to say.
Oh, only if Neil raps. So this is an old one.
Not gonna have.
Right there.
Why'd you say 902.10?
Hey, did you switch? Dude, what are you even doing? Here's your white thing right here.
I'm getting old, man.
So yeah, I told that a long time. Your hearing is going.
Okay, no, the reason for that is I'm like, you know, we have black ones and white ones. I'm like, I'm wearing a light shirt. I might as well just.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm wearing a light shirt.
No, but I couldn't find it. I'm doing all this. I'm looking around, and I see Sean's. I'm like, hey, you're not using it. I just could have grabbed his, but you know what? It was behind the shades, and these things are you can't see. They're so dark.
The future's so bright in here. I have to keep these around. That's the thing. Every time, well, then I can't see anything. These were from the infamous eclipse that changed everybody's life.
That was the greatest experience of, not really around here, but I think for a lot of people. Maybe we'll get another shot at it. Market's trying to make a little bit of a bounce. Oh, maybe I should have reloaded Disney, but I didn't. At that moment, the market was looking like it was making a pullback, and if it was going to break VWAP, I was just going to let it go. We did scalp more shares out, but I'm just going to get over to one more leg on Intel. There we go. It doesn't trade in New Zealand. They'll need to add that market. It still looks okay, but I'll get something else out in front of the 80s. It's not falling apart, and I think part of the reason why Intel's not completely falling apart here is, well, A, it's down so much, but it had already done a consolidation bounce. Like $1.50 is 5% on this stock, so it had already gone, you know, it already done 15%. It's already a decent move back in, and now it's just a battle happening at an optionable level at that $30 level. So it's not running away from it yet. The longer it stays under, I think the better it is going to be. And just because I hate your guts, Affirm. Yeah, the move is now complete on Affirm. Affirm is at the aftermarket lows. So that was a one swing, and it wasn't even close to getting this one short. Sometimes the only trade you can make is to take the breakdown. And that was a clear breakdown through 36. I kind of wanted it in here hanging around VWAP, which sometimes happens and sometimes work. Other times you don't get a green candle on the stock for an hour. Or, well, technically it's like 40 minutes. Affirm gives it all up, from green to red. I think this is going to be a multi-day event here for Affirm because it's just reaffirming the downward trend despite, I didn't even think it was that good of a quarter, but I mean, somebody liked it.
I'm just going to bid 903.55. Yeah,
90210.
NVIDIA, yeah, I'll get, I mean, if I can get 902, we'll do that. But we've just bounced off a couple times off VWAP. I mean, I tell Adara VWAP, and then all of a sudden it comes down to VWAP, and I'm just like, yo, what's going on, VWAP? So yeah, we're gonna have to watch out for that. Palantir to the upside says, my guy Jarhead, what's up, Jarhead? Spin that with me, buddy. I mean, I could write this. I mean, look, I know Jarhead's a sticky note guy. Wait a second. But no, yeah, just right here. This is what we had. We had this written down as we talked about it right there. Tesla 176 short. That didn't hit yet. Our only red name today is Tesla, and it's a level that we didn't. We tried it. I'm still happy with that. There's the Intel short. That's a banger. Here's the Palantir long. That's a banger. There's the NVIDIA short. $7. That's a banger. So yeah, so far the stuff that we've talked about on here, BABA, Intel, Tesla, NVIDIA, Palantir, and bearish. The bearish on the market hasn't been right, but all my ideas are bear on here right now. So we went bearish, except of course for Palantir. 21, use 2075 as a bottom. I wanted to mark that down because like yesterday, it's hard to sit somewhere and then, you know, watch. Oh, first of all, this is for me on Palantir. This is a good one right now. Right back up to VWAP. Maybe we just take this out and call it a trade right now. Let's see the action here on this VWAP play for Palantir as we're going, Jarhead. Nice day for you, I hope, and a nice trade there put on by all of us or anybody that went long on Palantir down there. Always a risk, but again, when you come into levels that like a 21, it makes it a little bit easier because your out is so much more obvious. So I like that trade there. Looks like Intel's trying to get back up to the, or sorry, Intel, I don't even have that many shares left of Intel. NVIDIA trying to get back up to the upside as there's the NASDAQ taking out pre-market highs, or sorry, these are intraday highs right now as it's 1020. So yeah, starting to go higher and higher and higher right now. Careful with the shorts. The market is trying to get green. And over there, in not a green blazer, is Adara.
Now it's this one.
Max site looking pretty green right now. MXCT having this nice move to the upside and pretty sustained volume after an earnings beat across the board. Another small cap earnings name here in Cricket. CRCT, this one reporting a sales miss but an EPS beat, falling back a little bit but still up about 30%. Last but not least, we do have Reborn Coffee, as mentioned earlier on the big desk, REBN. This one closing a master license agreement in China. So RBEN, or REBN, sorry, still really strong, breaking new high of day, guys.
Yeah, and speaking of things breaking the high of the day, the NASDAQ is breaking the high of the day. Oh, thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Let me turn my heater back on. We got a coffee refill, as long as it's before 10:30. I always make sure I get that one in. But QCOM, like AMD got to VWAP, Intel still looking a little bit heavy. QCOM, we had to wait for it to get back into the afternoon levels. We shorted the same price. We've scalped into the 79, but it cannot seem to get into VWAP. At the time I put this order, it was VWAP, but now 178.5 would be about $1 is going to be VWAP. So I'm not gonna go short again at that top because the market's breaking out highs and it's a trend up. So when that's the case, I back away. There was no break of VWAP on AMD, so I'm gonna actually throw that one in there. I feel like if you hold on to something, Intel has a better chance of staying red than these others, so I don't wanna be reloading in here off those highs aggressively while the market's continuing to go. I only have Disney long, and it's trying to go off of VWAP itself. That's a day 2 short sell restricted play. Disney was down over 10%. This can take out the top. It looks nice. And then we're not into this, but GameStop 17.5 is a long ways away. It did this yesterday at the open where it dumped and then tried to break out at a false break and then consolidated underneath VWAP and eventually ran. So if it does exactly the same thing, I'm either going to look for that lower high, which would be somewhere around like 15.5, 15.6, or like a late reclaim of VWAP, and then every time it claims VWAP, I just want to try and give it and go. Because if this does another late afternoon run, I don't care the reason why. I mean, it's been so spectacular when it gets going in the afternoon that I want to respect it if it can hold VWAP.
All right, there it is, man. Thank you so much to RIVN Millionaire. Thank you so much to Jarhead. These guys are done for the day. Good trade there. And what's up to Oscar? Yeah, Alibaba is at our level. So guess what? Trade alert. We're short Alibaba right there. So there's the trade. We just went over it. I even said we were waiting at 78.75. I said I wasn't going to change it despite what this market was doing right now. And yeah, the market's going upside and big time right now. Oh, I thought am I not sitting here to get a fill? Oh no, 61s. Why am I at 61s? All right, normally I take a dime, but we'll wait. Hopefully a little bit of a move down. All right, and in the bonehead, so speaking about Jarhead, in the bonehead play of the day right now, we had watched NVIDIA go all the way down there into VWAP, and then we started talking about 90210 and all these random things, and then now we are getting hit. And not hit too badly.
I was obviously joking about that. Obviously.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm the one that was I put it at 901. So, but there it is now. Coming back in for the play is NVIDIA. So all the way back in, as in into the upside here for me. We're short this name. I'm like going to wait for, I mean, if I'm going to short anything, it's going to be 910, like not 909, not 909.50. Like this has already shown that it wants to be up here. And unless this market really does fall down, I feel like NVIDIA, obviously it's up 0.5%. The market is down still. So to talk about relative strength or weakness, definitely here for NVIDIA is relatively strong. Thank you so much for that, Rob.
Nasdaq's so close to green.
The NASDAQ, yeah, that's the problem. So remember, we've made money. Like we're up today. We said we were bearish. We've made money bearish. But at some point, we also identified the market can change our mind ASAP. But right there, we'll go alarms for that one. We will get that 61 fill. We told you we were sitting there. So a quick 14 cents on Alibaba. But ultimately, I'm just excited to see if NVIDIA wants to do anything at these levels. I kind of laugh just because it's been so fun to trade over the last couple of days. And for the last 6-8 months, it seems like, for NVIDIA.
6 months, 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. I wish I could have those back because then I'd be long NVIDIA at like $2. Here we go right now, down to the downside for NVIDIA. Let's see what happens. Tesla is coming in the building here at 174 again as well. So there was that short that I didn't mind, but it's NVIDIA that I got my mind on. But Tesla is breaking higher, out at 174 break. This kind of came at I put this in a long time ago, so let's get out if this breaks above 174, and there it goes.
Yeah, the Frank Jones, there is a level 2 war happening on Intel, but it's at the lows when the market's at the highs. That's the distinct difference. Apologies for not talking about this one. We mentioned the nice bounce on the imbalances on Mara. It got added to the S&P 600. That's why you had that big liquidity event. I actually like what it did here, which is liquidity grab big time at the open and now stepping up. This is doing what?
Mara?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Gets added, gaps down, flushes everybody out, higher lows in front of VWAP. That's squeeze potential. So the first available dip would be like 1940. I have 1925 marked up, so I'm going to trust myself. I usually put those for a reason on the higher time frame chart. But yeah, the first available dip, I want to grab this one. Here. Did I just hear Disney?
I just heard uh-oh from myself because NVIDIA just uh-oh'd to the upside right there. Yeah. We took some out there quickly. There's another out for us. There's another. Money. Let's go. All right, we just shorted 9. I told you what we were doing. We're shorting 910 even. So there's the 910 even out, and I just hit the out as fast as I possibly could there because we had 50 cents twice, then we just had $1, and now we can go downside on a reloaded position for NVIDIA. This is going to stop working at one point here, so I'm going to stop the madness almost immediately and just hold on to the rest of this and wait because the scalping out has worked for us, but there it goes. See, like, feel like this is super strong. 9-11 break, we're gone. See you later on NVIDIA. But that was good. That was good. We slapped that money on there because we made it. Now we can lose that $1, which there it goes. We just did. So we'll slap a fail on the last piece of NVIDIA as it goes back up over 9-11 right now. And it's stronger than everything. So here we go again. What is going on with SMH? Hopefully an upside move as well. Yeah, as they're all going. The SMH is right at this level as well. 221 and change. There goes NVIDIA. It's now on one. This can happen. We said get out of the way when it does. We got out of the way the first time at 9:10. Reloaded it. Now it seems like it's going as the market, of course, just turned Greensville there. So we'll still be short Tesla. NVIDIA did come out. I kind of want to get back in because we're coming up to some of these levels. But now you see on the 20-minute chart, we had 917 yesterday. So that could come into play again, 917, 918. Probably better to let it settle down and get up to those levels before we get too carried away right now.
Yeah, and actually, Fabian was just in my ear saying it was CleanSpark moving the same way Mara is. The only reason I'm favoring Mara is because it had the inclusion to the S&P 600 yesterday. It just gives it a little extra oomph. We always talk about a catalyst, right? Like price action is price action, but if you can add something to it, then it just gives you more confidence and reason to like the trade. I just jumped out of QCOM. The market keeps on going higher, lower high here, but showing some signs of strength. And obviously, this is the other difference that we noted yesterday between Qualcomm and Intel was that their daily charts are exactly the opposite, not kind of the opposite. I'm talking about precisely the opposite. So while I did think that was bad news for a fade, when this is trend up, holding the highs, and I like the short up here, it's very different from hanging on to a stock that is trend down and holding the bottom end of the range. Same news, same negative story, so I did like the short in both, and I'll be up on Qualcomm, but if there's one that's probably an all-day hold, it does feel like that's going to be Intel, and I think that should be obvious why, right? If the market continues higher, Qualcomm's been a very quality stock, so at some point you get out of the way of it. AMD did, again, it wicks the 155, so it breaks 55, doesn't take out the high of the day. When it gets back under, I jump back. I jump back into a reload. I got 96s this time. I think I got like 97s the last time. And Disney bounced off VWAP. So I got Disney. It bounced off VWAP. I reloaded it. Still feeling like you could be in a little bit of trouble. If it can't hold VWAP, I'll just get out. And good timing because we're just talking some Mara. I'm not in it yet, but we're going to get the crypto update with Adara so I can know where Bitcoin is.
Nice.
Got an update this morning from FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried's bankrupt and defunct crypto exchange, apparently saying that they will be able to pay back most of their customers. Apparently, their estimated owing creditors around $11.2 billion, and says that it has between $14.5 billion and $16.3 billion to distribute to creditors. So just a bit of an update there from FTX, also saying that customers whose claims amount to $50,000 or less will receive about 118% of the amount of their allowed claims. So interesting update there for repaying creditors and customers hurt by FTX there. Bitcoin itself continuing to hang out around that 62,000 level. Initially, this served as support going back a while, going back to about March 2024. Now we fell back a little bit, holding this level pretty well, not too much going. And a lot of these crypto names feeling the heat to the downside here. Bitcoin, Ethereum, both down. Ethereum barely holding on to that 3,000 level as of right now. And some minor losses here in BNB, larger losses in Solana, down about 3%. Dogecoin down almost 4%. Ripple down about 2% here. So bit of a weak day for crypto across the board, guys.
You know what? How about, because it's that week of a day, and thank you for the update, I don't have to sit on the bid of Mara. Oh. I can allow it to get down, show me the bounce off of VWAP at 19.25, and then try to get in. You don't always have to have the order out there. You can allow it to trade down into that price if you want to buy the dip. That said, Mara has had some counter trend moves in the past. With regards to crypto, so I don't necessarily, Bitcoin, I don't necessarily mind. I saw a number that was like 98% of people at FTX are going to get their money back, which I think is fantastic. The only downside is Bitcoin and everything else has ran so much that getting your money back, considering you've had to wait a couple of years, you don't get the appreciation. NVDA. But I think that's a great story for everybody involved. Always happy to see it. Like there are people that actually do some work to ensure that people get their money back. All you hear is about the bad for lawyers and regulators, but I saw that story and it put a smile on my face because, knowing I knew a few people that maybe not a ton of money, but had money at FTX, and you're always happy to see it. So Disney bouncing off VWAP here, just like last time, gonna take the scalp trade, 25 cents in. Can't seem to break 106 yet, but I think that's a yet story. So Disney's still holding good off VWAP. I'd like this to get to the high of the day where we should respect it. Enlightened Bear says, geez, SMCI. It must be going,
NVDA.
if you're saying that, it must be going up because usually it goes down.
It's probably going down.
No, why is this up so much?
Oh, it's still hanging out because NVIDIA just dropped down $3. So we almost made the high there. We got out at 9.11. The high turned out to be 9.12. But how am I ever going to put a stop? Like, I can't, you know, that's tough. But guess what we did?
Reload it.
We did not reload this one. No, 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 my friend. We reloaded the other one. We got SMH. Yes, sir. Get down right now. So honestly, almost going into PL1 is going to be SMH now. I was just like, look, I'm honestly had enough because NVIDIA gives me those feels of $10, $5, $7 winners, stuff like that, and then I get greed. And it's not even greedy. It's just like I look down here and I'm like, there's potential to get down here, and then we ignore that. So I was just like, you know what? Let's just go over to something here, SMH, where it can have everything involved. We can get some Intel action, although we're already, and by the way, how good is Intel right now?
Still down.
Still making moves lower right here. I'm actually going to put a bid at 86 because why? There we go. We got filled.
80.
We actually just got filled immediately there. There must have been a cross down dark pool. That was good. All right, so we'll take an 86, Phil. I mean, you take it in if you want right now, 86, 87, no difference there. So that's a good fill. And then, yeah, SMH. I just was trying to give this until the high. Hold on. There's a report out. Microsoft is turning on Intel and AMD.
Like turning on them as in like we're hating them, we like them, or turning on is this, no, that sounds bad to me, like they're turning away from AMD and Intel.
It's again, so we get in our ear, like, first of all, we're using Benzinga Pro platform. So this is what we deal with right here. And until it's really pointed out on here, like we have a trading halt on NNE, they just report random stuff. So like sometimes they'll be, and they said it, it's like it's a report from the, for example, the Athletic or wherever that blah, blah, blah is happening. And so a lot of the time,
Shout out to the Athletic.
yeah, exactly. That's why I did that. A lot of the time, you know, they're just early reports, but there is a report there, apparently something about Intel, Microsoft, and AMD, but I don't hear anything right now. So, that's what's happening there. And we did take that opportunity, not that opportunity, we took the opportunity of the downside move to get out again of Intel. My best out was 85, so we just took another 85, or 86 there. So we got what we needed there. Good trade for that. Palantir, a great one. Shout out to Jarhead and everybody that at least followed Palantir today at 21. It's all the way up. If we break VWAP, we're out of that one. And there's only a little bit of time left, which puts us in a perfect opportunity to go over what's for lunch. Yeah, it came in a little bit early today, which is always a good thing. And today it's close, Neil, depending on how this gets served. It's close to your Taco Tuesday. Today is Fajita Chicken Wednesday. So we'll get some fajitas. That should be good, I feel like, with Santa Fe rice and black beans and corn. So a little bit of a black bean sort of, see, that's the thing. I don't know if, assuming the fajitas are going to come, they come pre-made, the fajitas.
Yeah, they do.
Which is what I'm saying, opposite of the taco. The taco, you can sort of throw whatever you want in there, but this one looks like it's going to be fajitas, chicken fajita, which is nice, with rice, corn, and black beans.
I just thought of something.
That's what's for lunch.
We haven't had tacos, and we used to do tacos in my house like at least twice a month, and usually on Tuesdays, and we haven't had it in a while. So I am going
like a
to.
Suggestion.
It sounds like a suggestion.
Put it in the suggestion
I might
box.
have to make a stop at the Who Am I Kidding? I'm gonna probably have stuff delivered to the house when I'm on the train and get some taco stuff because I don't think we have it. I just need ground beef. Because I think we have some shells. I like the soft shells. We'll have to pick up some soft shells. I love tacos, and I want tacos now. And I also want AMD to break VWAP. I want Intel to break the low of the day. I want AMD to stop writing VWAP. I'd like Disney to break to the high of the day. JMuck, I have no idea what Upstart is doing, and I'm going to get to that in a quick second. I'll look back at the firm. But AMD just keeps on bouncing off of VWAP here. It's a good reload at the 55, but I want this breaking VWAP to trace back into the bottom. And then we can go to the... Okay, you know what? AMD doesn't belong in the gates of hell. Intel belongs in the gates of hell. AMD's not a bad stock. I said I would double check Upstart. It's finally consolidating underneath VWAP, so this is definitely what you're getting at. I want to make sure that Affirm is still, look at that. If you short the first available pop on Affirm, It doesn't have a green candle until 10:18. You short that move, and you have 80 cents already. That's after a $5 drop. You know a stock is bad. I was going to say something else when that happens. But Upstart now finally underneath view up. The difference here is Upstart is SSR. So tighter stops on any short when a stock is short sell restricted. Affirm was actually up and trapped some people long after the earnings move, which is wild because now
it's a drop.
No, but you look at that daily chart. It is the most. It's not hammer down like Intel's has been, but it's like gliding down for months upon months. So if you're trapping any longs, is not a good sign on Affirm, which I think they did last night. Well, sorry, this morning.
I mean, everything popping up on my stupid scanner. NVIDIA, Micron, Intel days low. You already talked about Mara moving around a little bit there.
Oh, we have to pay.
Square is not doing anything. I'm just trying to go over some names here. I still have SMH on. We just absolutely nailed that one, man. Face slapper on SMH, the semiconductors. We could have also taken SOX L as well right now. But look at NVIDIA. So we got stopped out there on the high side. So we'll slap a fail on us getting out, but we did get back into the same spot with SMH. So again, a little bit of a better take on NVIDIA, maybe not percentage-wise, but I'm just trying to figure out the right share size and everything with SMH. So again, instead of having like 100 shares of NVIDIA or something, it's like how much of SMH for that same kind of a feel, but I'm not trading it the same. Like we just got out at the 50 period. We got a couple trades out at the 50 period. You know, this name has 15 names in it. You know, it's heavily weighted to NVIDIA, but we could see a move up in AMD or a move down or whatever and still catch some of that. All right, so man, my headache is getting worse and worse. All right, we're drinking the water, we're having some coffee, we're having a good time. Do we ever use ADR? No, I'm going to say, because I don't hear Neil use it too much, but the one who does, Obi uses ADR a lot, and that is, wait, ADR, average daily range, yeah, okay.
No, it's ATR. I think
That's what I was thinking.
No, but ADR, because Alibaba's in ADR.
Oh, is that what was
No,
meant? That's when I said ADR, I was like, wait a minute, ADR?
Yeah, Alibaba is an ADR.
Who asked that question?
Most of the big Chinese equity names that we trade.
No, but it means.
Oh, you do mean average? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So that's
ADR is also an American
Kanye?
Depository Receipt. That's what I know it as. That's my bad. My bad.
Kanye, say what's up to Bianca for me, and let's go say what's up right now over to. Are we ready? I think my ear might have died. So over to Adara. Oh, nope, it's still alive. Over to Adara.
Oh.
Both the major indices today, S&P 500 and NASDAQ, pretty muted to start the day, and we're certainly feeling that in this sector map. Pretty much everything here is more or less flat. Electronic technology, with the exception of this nice move here from Broadcom to the upside, pretty flat here. We have health technology, finance, producer manufacturing, energy minerals, health services, process industries, commercial services, consumer non-durables, all of these more or less flat today. Retail trade a little bit weaker as a group. Keep an eye out for Home Depot and Walmart earnings, both coming next week. We also have a little bit of weakness in transportation as well. Uber leading this group to the downside after earnings, but UPS feeling that move downwards as well. Technology services, another one that has a lot of positivity here. Meta, pretty strong, announcing some new AI-related features after the close yesterday. We also have Netflix, CRM, pretty strong here, despite some weakness in Oracle and Google. So generally, theme of the day, a little bit more mixed, unless you are consumer services here. Nice strength in Comcast and Disney here, guys.
Good for Comcast. I mean, Disney might be up, but it can't break away from VWAP. But still nice little upward pattern. We're going to hang on to. We've already scalped some out. It's the afternoon high that it's struggling at, 106.25. I think if it can start holding that, you have potential for a breakout play. Upstart, I had to pay for locates on Upstart, but we have them now. Doesn't mean I'm just going to automatically hit the short when we got it. It's got to hold under VWAP. So there's a bounce. Here's the test. If it can hold underneath VWAP, I'll try to get a consolidation short on Upstart. I just heard that you have some actual big moves happening on the way back because the NASDAQ's taking out the highs. It got to go back to AMD here. There's the bounce off VWAP. If it can put in a lower high, great. I think that turns it into a hold past VWAP. But eventually, if it just keeps on doing this, the dream of it falling further is going to fall to the wayside. ARM 112 target, top VoIP just said. Oh, yeah, ARM reports tonight.
They do?
Well, yeah, I'm 99% sure. But up 1.6%. It's not at fresh. Yeah, it hasn't broken yesterday's high, I don't think. But a double top. Oh, no, it just did. Just broke yesterday's high, it looks like, on ARM and continuing to go. Yes, so much for Neil buying the dip in ARM. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I meant to buy the dip in. I didn't buy the dip in Meta.
I say this every single day because it's important when you're looking at your long term. If your hold is to your kids have it, then you shouldn't care about, like I shouldn't care whether I bought ARM at $82.40 whatever cents I put it at. I should have been willing to just see the dip. It bounced off 85, buy 86s the next morning or whatever, buy 80s. Technically, it would have been like 87s or something like that. What difference does it make? I was waiting until the flush, after, and then it got the flush, and then we don't get into it. And, it is what it is. And then you're just chasing it forever and waiting for the next available dip. What's the point?
Yeah.
Buy and hold is going to win every single time. Reporting after hours tonight. That'll be a wild one. Their value, after they report, it's still going to be 100.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of where buy and hold doesn't win every time if you
not every
execute
time.
properly, because I'd sold Meta at 985, and then it went down to 915 or whatever on earnings. I thought there was a chance for it to go a little bit lower, didn't buy it back. So I could have made, it's like you with Intel, if you sell the whole thing at the top and you buy it back, but then again, you have to have that horse sense that you can't get all the time on all these different stocks. So.
The funny thing is I got the first quarter of Intel I got out was lucky.
Amazon long.
Because I bought covered calls that got called away. It was kind of like I wanted to sell it, but then when that happens, like ultimately it hits the price, hey, you make some money on it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like when it got to 50 and I'm like, oh, we're just hitting the sell key on it. But market at those highs, could be some reload spots up here, although it's Upstart that I want to get into the first time. And Mara, it's good to be patient. There's no question about it. But in that move and a pullback, I was patiently looking for VWAP. And Morris said, no, we're not going to VWAP. We're just going to bounce 40 cents away from it and make a fresh high. This is looking pretty strong. In the face of crypto doing nothing, Bitcoin doing nothing, I don't want to speak for other coins, Mara stepping to the upside. And remember, got added to the S&P 600, probably going to have some eyeballs on it, and it's got a decent short float.
All right, another shout out here. It's Sticky No Nation time, and I just want to say a big shout out to everybody that's here, because we have another one right now, and it is JMO. What's up, JMO947? He says, Palantir, baby, done for the day. That is exactly
another one.
You and Jarhead done for the day off of that, and I hope many more of you are also done for the day on Palantir, because yesterday Palantir had me done for the day real early, and of course we weren't done for the day, but okay, I put a stop out on this one. Oh, we did reload SMH. I'll get to that in a minute. We are about to unload the clip. If we had put our stop at 30, now we're above the 200 on Palantir. Our stop is right here at 39. If we break below, then I too, JMO and Jar Jar Binks, I will also be done for the day. So go to the beach. I will not be seeing you there, because if I jump into Lake Ontario right now, although you know what?
What's so bad about?
No, I think it's, no, I was talking about the weather. I was thinking about the temperature. But I don't think
Today's still nice. It's getting cold tomorrow.
Yeah, so the lake, I wonder what Lake Ontario's temperature is right
Oh, no, it's
Probably
not.
like 5 degrees Celsius.
It's
maybe.
too early in the season for it to get warm.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like not polar bear plungy time, but.
I'm born in Canada. I love Canada, but we don't have real beaches here. Basically, we've got what you would call quote unquote beaches, but they're not. It's just not the same thing. We've been to the West Indies, you've been to places in Europe, you've been to Florida. It's just, you got some rocks and you got some water, and it's fun to play every now and then.
Yeah, I love the beaches.
But it's not. You don't get real sand here though. Sharif knows what's up.
I mean, anybody that's traveled knows what's up.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, we can't compare lakes of Ontario with the ocean. I mean, let's.
But you know what we do get?
Beautiful beaches across Canada.
Yeah, there are there are places you can go. And the other thing about Canada, you got great people, and you get the opportunity to be an absolute diehard fan. Because not anybody can be a fair weather fan of a team, but in Toronto specifically, you get to prove that you're a true fan, good or bad, whatever it might be, because being a Leafs Raptors,
is a
Blue Jays
problem.
fan is a bit of a problem. Although, you know what? We've got the best women's hockey team in the league. So
Yeah,
there's that.
for now, yeah. They're playing tonight.
For now.
Yeah, well, yeah. I hope that league can
Show
really
them off.
survive. We're having a good time with that, man.
You said they're doing great.
They are. I think they're. I mean, they're selling out. Tonight they play where the Marlies play. Another 8,000 sellout immediately.
You know what? I got
all right, so
I'm gonna
just
hit you
quickly
up.
here, I just want to go over something because the market's ripping. We tried Amazon again up top.
Look.
There it goes. Amazon busted out. The market is now taking out highs and going green. So like we said, have the ability to flip it up. We tried Amazon one more time. This was not on the sticky note, but I didn't mind it. We tried that there. NVIDIA's still not going, but it's almost gone if we could take out that 912. So again, why even bother? Look at the 50 period. 50 period, 50 period, 50 period. All you had to do was look long instead of short, and this trade is easier. But the short is also paid. You just had to have been patient and grab these tops. All right, we're getting pretty patient now as well with SMH. If we take out these highs right here, 222, we've already made that right there. That's going to be a problem for me. So that's going to be an out. And instead of being a problem, we're just going to deal with our problems and get out if it does become a problem. A lot of names there are becoming problems.
What a run on Tesla. Just very quickly, there's only 10 minutes to go before we get to money talks. Sometimes the best you can do is get out of the way. I said I would short Tesla into the pre-market levels, so shorts underneath those resistance spots, and then after that, 178. The previous close. So I'm sitting this out until it gets up there. Wasn't looking for a long in Tesla, but at least, remain disciplined, adhere to your stops. I got one profitable trade in there, which allows it not to be that bad. But let's get to the desk. We've got money talks.
DXY coming into an interesting place in this chart. I was speaking a lot last week about that range we had with that top of 106.40 coming to that base of 105.60. Now we're kind of seeing that form as a bit of resistance. This is also previous support. If we go back here to October 2023, of course, DXY doesn't always have to form these support and resistance levels, but it is interesting that we are coming into that previous support we saw hold pretty much the entire back half of April. We did get some economic data today. Wholesale inventories for March coming in exactly as expected. Wholesale trade for March, though, month over month, coming in a little bit lower than expected, negative 1.3% versus 2% prior. So a bit of a drop there for wholesale trade month over month for March. We have not one, but three Fed speakers coming up in the next few hours. Right at 11 in 10 minutes, we'll get comments from Fed's Jefferson, followed closely by comments from Fed's Cullen at 11:45. Then we'll get Fed's Cook coming in at 1:30. So three Feds in rapid succession coming in these during the midday session. Stay tuned for that Fed speak. That could be moving the dollar here, guys.
Get down, SMH. Thank you, Adara, for that. I mean, money talks, but bullshit walks. And right now, some of these stocks right now are,
That's the saying.
Nearing the ladder. Like, come on, NVIDIA. Like, now I'm in SMH because I'm fed up with NVIDIA, and then we just talked about NVIDIA right here. Right there at 9.10, 9.11. We just said, uh-oh, they're about to go for a run, and then it drops $3. And that's okay because we cashed out a little bit right here. We're just trying to stack it on SMH. Another short, another outs at 50s. Our average price 68. Let's take some more profit on this if it drops down a little bit, but let's still hold something for some kind of a dream that's become a nightmare shorting. And it hasn't become a nightmare. I'm having nightmares by not being in this right now. So let's just stay true to what we're doing here and then continue to look for better opportunities, and we will find them. So that's that. SMH right now, nice pullback. Intel, Baba. We missed the reload on Baba. I was at 79. Once I saw that wick, I was actually higher than this for Alibaba, trying to give this a 79.20. So I was waiting like 79.10. So we did not get a reload, but this is come right back in now for Alibaba. If the market's going to go south, I'm fine holding everything that we have. And then you just mentioned Tesla on the run. No, up to 176.
It might get to that 78 level.
That's the level we wrote down.
Look, I like it at that price. It's within spitting distance now. If the market can continue to go, I think it's got a good shot. I did not get a reload on AMD because every single time it was like break 155 and shorted on the way back through 155. So I thought that would be the case again in a strong market. It turned at 154.98. So it didn't do the same pattern. I'll hold through VWAP if it can go. Disney's the only long I have. There's this Kazoo, which is halted. First things first,
I'm
be
gonna
careful.
snap about
It might not be as
Tesla.
fun trading this thing as it is to watch Kazoo from the Flintstones, but yeah, the tap on this, I'm not making this number up, is $3.85. So suffice to say, nastiness is going on here, and it's only 100,000 on volume. 100,000 shares. It is 10:50 in the morning, and the stock has done 100,000 shares with a tap of $4. So if you think that it's not going to halt multiple times today or a few more times, you're probably making the wrong bet. If you have strategies around halt trades, good for you. This is on an absolute no-fly list when it has that little volume. It just opened back up. The spread is already 25 cents, and it did like 20,000 shares on open. That is not something that I would ever want to trade. It's going to go right into a halt again after that move down. So if you ever want to trade it, good luck, but it's not for me. Just going to halt at 451. It couldn't even stay open for 15 seconds. What I was looking for on GameStop is trying to happen, but hasn't happened yet. Higher low, no break of VWAP on GameStop. With only 5 minutes to go, if it gets above 16 and holds, I'm going to go long with a 1580 stop on GME here. Just want this back above VWAP. And holding, if we can come to the chart, Fabian, although we verbally described it. So there it is, 15.8. If we can break back and hold above VWAP, look for a consolidation long that we give to this 15.8 level. And then we get out in front of what's been happening pretty much every single day, which is a late day rally in GME after psyching everybody out to the downside early. Well, I mean, it's dumped at the open and then just basically slowly ground up. And when it holds VWAP, you get that acceleration at some point in the day.
Yeah, we grind high. That's no doubt about that one as this market just continues to get higher and higher. And they're so resilient, this market. We actually broke it down for you guys earlier as we're still making money on the short. We're back short Amazon, and that's starting to print now. We talked about 18,000 coming into play. The lowest we got was 18.1. I mean, we got to 18.0750, 075, but I was still looking for this move. So that's why we were trying to stay short. We're short now, but this is the main reason why we were looking short. But now you're coming right up to another top. So if in the midday, we're going to go there in 4 minutes, 118,270, they're going to be talking about IPOs. We're not even that far away right now, like 30 or 40 handles from what was the top yesterday, now coming back into play here off of us. Okay. Off of a strong play there, as my charts just did something funky there. There's Amazon, nice call for the short. Got stopped out when we broke 188.25, got back in now, but look what's printing for us right now. This is what's printing right now. But it's NVDA that should be a $5 winner. We were just at 911 and talking about it, but we did good to do this. We did really well reloading SMH up there. So I cannot complain. A good take on SMH downside, a good take there for Amazon. Let me put another bid, as it's not necessarily tank city here by any stretch of the imagination. So let's see if we can get something out at 11. There it is. Okay, we're also bidding 02. The market's starting to come back in what will be a green morning for us. Just could have been a lot better if we had been a little more patient, a little more disciplined with NVIDIA.
Yeah, it was one of those mornings, like for myself, it started out like 50-50, like a win-loss, win-loss. But then once we got patient, like pretty much everything's worked. I'm now out of the only long position that we have, and that was Disney. Disney just can't punch. Sorry, let me zoom in for you guys. Disney can't punch through that top. Every time it's gotten through 106.30, it's wicked that high, and the market starts pulling back, I'll take it. The NASDAQ was already making a dip as it made that last little push. So VWAP, hold on a higher low, short sell restricted name, so it was a little bit more, I don't know, like relative strength to it in some points. Toast is apparently having a great day, but that's
they earned earnings.
Yeah, Toast there were so many earnings names today, and I know you can't there's no chance you can get to all of the earnings names when this happens, but Toast is still going, 15% to the upside, good for them. We still have only chip short. Now VWAP is broken on AMD, so I think we can get that low of the day. I missed the last reload by a hair there at 155, but if it hangs under VWAP, I think we get down to that 153. We're going to hold on for dear life. Intel still hasn't broken the low, but I feel like that's just a matter of time. And we just got out of the long on Disney saying, why not take it? It's rejected that price 3 times. The market's pulled back. Already Disney's pulling back in. So timing, big assist to the NASDAQ and the ES, which were already pulling back 5 and 10 handles respectively when we got to resistance on Disney.
Yeah. I don't have really anything to hit right now. Who likes fruit salad? Yeah, a lot of people like fruit salad. I saw my guy in the back there today. He's crushing the fruit salad. No, on the other side. I won't say his name.
I think I know who you're talking about. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
So here we go. SMH. I mean, we just got 221 15s, 221 16s on this play. So it's really starting to happen here for us. Hopefully the downside will come into play again. Intel still here. Remember where we came from the NASDAQ? This is what the day looks like. To make a hell of a lot of money, all we need is like even just a retracement, like get to 18.2. You know, I feel like that'd be good enough for us. We didn't short the TQs. We picked on a sector that I think is vulnerable right now, the semis. I feel like you're just hovering right now. It's had a huge move back. Let's just watch out. I mean, this is what we're doing. I'm only bidding 221 flat right there because that's almost, I mean, the best we've gotten out is like teens. So I think we got a 10 there, but if we could break below and then VWAP is the next play, then man, I am all for that. Like, let's just stay net short. I'm feeling shorts. Alibaba, we're in already to the short side, but not much happening there. Intel's been singing for us all day. Amazon's a very positive stock. We'll have one red name today, Tesla. And that's because, honestly, it's been very good to hear that I've been able to keep my composure because 176 is the level that we wrote down for Tesla. So I'm at 175.75, and we just missed that. Like, we missed it by 7 cents, which would now be 70 cents in the money. Let's see if Tesla can get back up there. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Westermeyer, about the fruit salad emoji. We like that one. All right, good day so far, about to get better. Anything you want to wrap up with here?
Well, let's wrap it up with a good day for profitability on shorts. I just heard something about China and Taiwan, which would put more pressure on semis. And I think that's the right spot because the NASDAQ's at those highs, and you've been able to find the right levels to short these chip names.
I have the story just before we go.
Okay, I didn't hear it very well.
It's not that bad. It just says Commerce Secretary says invasion of Taiwan by China and seizure of TSMC would be absolutely devastating.
Oh, obviously.
So
no, that's going to be a good thing.
Thanks for stating the obvious there.
Why do you bother reporting something like that as a story?
If your name is Taiwan Semi, and you are getting invaded, yeah, might not be a great
obviously
look.
not. Yeah, so thank you for clarifying
that.
I just heard something about that in semiconductors.
But anyways, maybe go short TSM.
Yeah, I mean, the chips are working to the downside, even with the market going up. But let's get on to the midday, talking some IPOs. And one of them reported today, that's Reddit. I don't think there's any big ones on tap for the last little bit, but you'll be prepared for the next one if you listen to Learn to Trade with the professor and Adara.
All right, thank you very much, Big Kahunas. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome.